What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 7BT Chapter 165 One-Handed Truth-Seeking Ball. The mighty army soon arrived at the capital of the fantasy country. Uchiha Obito is holding a black Zen stick, looking down at the city below. His face is indifferent, and he doesn't know what he is thinking. 100,000 white Zetsu stood quietly on the spot, while those strong men who were reincarnated from the impure world couldn't help being amazed when they saw the appearance of the illusory kingdom. Senju Hashirama. Seeing the current Konoha again, it's really spectacular. Ah yes, now it's been renamed the Magic Kingdom. That kid is really amazing. Senju Toburama. Humph, just a dark brat. Second Tsuchikage. Onoki. It seems that you have finally found the way to survive in Rock Shinobi Village. I can't teach you well. Second Mizukage. I heard that our One-in Village has been supporting Namikaze Kirito, and our Zunin Village has come to 860. A powerful person in power. Third Reikage. HMPH. If the old man hadn't been revived by the damn impure world reincarnation, he would have slaughtered all the bastards organized by Akatsuki, even killing one of my children. Killer B. Yo, father, with brother here, our Cloud Shinobi Village has not yet perished. Kato Dan. Tsunade. I heard that you got together with that Kirito? Although I feel sad, I should wish you happiness. The 7 ninja swordsmen also looked at the village in front of them with complicated expressions. You know, when they were alive before, they met a genin casually in Konoha, and they were almost wiped out. They all died, and they were reincarnated, and they came to this village again, which is really unlucky. Likewise, the Jinchuriki who had previously drawn the tailed beasts were also reincarnated. Although they had a strong hatred for the Akatsuki organization, they were restrained and completely lost the ability to resist. I still keep my own thoughts now, but when that person gives the order, I'm afraid I will attack my companions. Sarutobi Asuma did not appear on the scene. As the caster of Impure World Reincarnation, once he was accidentally slaughtered on the scene, it would be troublesome. So no matter how much he missed Chihahong, he had to hide in a dark corner at this time, like a mouse. On the side of the fantasy country, a large part of the ninjas from the other villages were also transferred. He set up a posture at the gate of the capital, looking at the familiar figures in front of him. Everyone was in a complicated mood. The hatred for that Sarutobi Asuma also deepened in his heart, and sure enough, the Sarutobi clan doesn't have any good things. Advertisement I. Bye, are you really killed by these bastards? But don't worry, I will let them accompany you soon. If you perform well in this war, the king will reward you with the chance to be resurrected. Up. Killer B. Don't worry about me. When you attack later, remember to find my weakness and seal me directly. Anyway, it's the body of Impure World Reincarnation, I won't have any. Feel. Terumi Mei. Master Second Mizukage, Yagura, you are gone. After I seal you, I will find a chance to release you. Namikaze Minato. Shodai, Nidame, please forgive my disrespect. Tsunade. Broken. Looking at the figure of Kato Dan, and then looking at Namikaze Kirito aside, Tsunade's jade hand gently took his arm. Although she is very shy and doesn't want to admit it, her heart is completely filled by Namikaze Kirito now. Even if she meets someone she once had a crush on again, there's no fluctuation. This is just some exclamation. Uchiha Obito in midair slowly descended, and Namikaze Kirito also easily released Tsunade's jade hand and walked to the front. One of the two was indifferent, the other was smiling, and there was no tension in front of the stand at all. Isn't this Obito? I haven't seen you for a while, why are you so white? Are you mad? Faced with Namikaze Kirito's mockery, Uchiha Obito didn't pay any attention to it. After getting 10 tails, his mentality changed. It seems that everyone looks like they are looking at ants. Of course, this is just what he thinks. Namikaze Kirito, I deeply remember the humiliation you brought me. Seeing this scene, do you regret that you didn't find a chance to kill me? Ha ha ha. Obito, not only your appearance has changed, but your heart has also changed a lot. You can tell cold jokes, do you really think? While speaking, Namikaze Kirito took a step forward and spoke softly. Do you really think that you are alive now because I was careless, or because I couldn't find you? It is said that Uchiha Obito's pupils constrict. He also always felt that the plan went too smoothly. Logically speaking, before he became 10 Tails Jinchuriki, Namikaze Kirito definitely had the strength to kill them. Advertisement. But even so, the other party still didn't make a move, as if waiting for something. A few months ago, the Akatsuki organization targeted the Jinchuriki in various villages, and the other party, as expected, allowed himself and others to take the tailed beast away. Even Namikaze Kirito obviously already possessed Rinnegan and got the ability to summon Gedo statue. Why didn't he call? What good does it do him to become 10 Tails Jinchuriki? Isn't he afraid that he will play off and be killed by himself? Uchiha Obito looked at Namikaze Kirito warily. That expression made Namikaze Kirito laugh out loud. Sure enough, even though you have obtained the top strength, your personality is still like a mouse. Are you afraid that you learned something that you can't understand? Don't try to confuse me, Namikaze Kirito, I will absolutely kill you today. Kill me? Why? Namikaze Kirito's tone was full of disdain. Is it the Rinnegan you rely on, or the 10 tails you rely on? Obito, even though you have the world's top power now, you still can't escape the fate of becoming a zombie. Shut up. I'm no one's puppet. You 1.8 Zebo Obito seemed to be irritated, he roared loudly, and a black truth-seeking ball behind him directly hit Namikaze Kirito. This is the substance that can only be created after 6 paths level power is fused with yin-yang done. In the eyes of Uchiha Obito, even if Namikaze Kirito possesses Rinnegan, there is no possibility of resisting this substance at all. But then came a scene that shocked him and Uchiha Madara equally. I saw Namikaze Kirito just casually stretched out a hand, holding the rescue path in his hand. Impossible. How can you catch the truth-seeking ball? Uchiha Obito's face was full of disbelief. Even the current Uchiha Madara can't handle this strange power. Why can Namikaze Kirito? According to their cognition, Namikaze Kirito should only win against Uchiha Madara. Chapter 166. The battle begins. Facing Uchiha Obito's face of questioning, Namikaze Kirito seemed a little casual. Why the surprise? Because I caught this thing. As he spoke, he shook the truth-seeking ball in his hand, as if he was playing with an ordinary ball, completely ignoring the yin-yang escape. Impossible, impossible. Before coming here, Uchiha Obito has experimented. This truth-seeking ball can destroy all ninjutsu. Ninjutsu can be destroyed, let alone the human body. Even if the body of Impure World Reincarnation was touched by the truth-seeking ball, it could not be recovered again. How could Namikaze follow up so easily? Obito, you have been against me for so long, or I let you think that you have been against me for so long. Why haven't you learned how to behave? Didn't I do what you think is impossible? Stop getting carried away. Facing Namikaze Kirito's teasing, Uchiha Obito couldn't maintain his emotional stability anymore and got up directly. The shape of the Zen stick in his hand has changed. It turned into a strange weapon like a net, and a 21 black huge shield appeared in the other hand. Between the Skymarsh spears, this is the Shinto heavenly sword of the Sage of Six Paths. It is also a sword of the heart. As long as the user's heart is strong enough, the sword will become stronger and stronger. The offense and defense are integrated, and it looks very imposing. But Namikaze Kirito doesn't seem to be doing Uchiha Obito any favors. Facing the opponent's sudden attack, Namikaze Kirito did not dodge or dodge, letting the sword of the marsh spear fall down that day. Clang! There was a clatter of metal. The huge Amanuma spear sword was directly blocked by Namikaze Kirito with his right arm. Becoming Namikaze Kirito at the 6 paths level, armament hockey has undergone a qualitative change, far surpassing the concept of armament hockey. There is no need to change the color of the hands, just integrate the power into the arms, and armament hockey will be activated naturally. Are you using your body again? What are you surprised about? Isn't that what it should be? Namikaze Kirito easily blocked Uchiha Obito's attack, and did not forget to speak in a mocking tone. There are still 4 red flames behind you, that is to say, you have not yet perfectly controlled 10 tails. Even so, you are really confident that you dare to trouble me. Advertisement. Hearing this, Uchiha Obito was startled. How did he know this secret? Namikaze Kirito is right. When he first became 10 tails Jinchuriki, there were 5 groups of red flames behind him. Every time one disappeared, it proved that he was more compatible with 10 tails. Originally, it would be the best choice to start the war after the red flames completely disappeared, but unfortunately Uchiha Obito couldn't wait any longer. Every time I think of Rin Nohara is still here with Namikaze Kirito, and the eyes full of love, it makes Uchiha Obito suffer a lot. So, after he became 10 tails Jinchuriki, he started the war directly. Unexpectedly, this was discovered by Namikaze Kirito. Obito, your self-confidence is just an illusion. Don't think that having 10 tails makes you qualified to talk to me. After all, Namikaze Kirito swung his fist directly to deflect the Amanuma spear, and then jumped forward with his whole body. Namikaze Kirito's action made Uchiha Obito full of vigilance, and directly wrapped himself in it with truth-seeking ball. Boom! With a loud noise, Namikaze Kirito completely ignored the shady scene and punched directly. The fist with the power of shock smashed on the black screen, causing countless cracks to appear in the black screen, and then flew out directly. Accompanied by the shaking of the earth, it hit the ground directly. Seeing this scene, Uchiha Madara's pupils constricted. Namikaze Kirito, it seems that you have reached a higher level? This is not going to work. Uchiha Obito has not yet fully controlled the power of 10 tails. It seems that Namikaze Kirito has taken care of it casually. Can't even try? If the powerhouses of the ninja world are not consumed during this period, the direct redness of Project Tsuki no Mi may not have any effect. Thinking of this, Uchiha Madara spoke loudly. The war begins. Destroy the fantasy country. Oh. The Akatsuki organization and 100,000 white Zetsu responded loudly, and then rushed towards the group of ninjas in the fantasy land. Seeing this scene, Namikaze Minato didn't panic in the slightest. The war was decided long ago, but he was worried about the casualties in the future. But the enemy is now, and there is no time to hesitate. Everyone, fight with me. Following the order of Namikaze Minato, the ninjas of countless fantasy kingdoms also moved forward bravely. Advertisement. For a time, colorful ninjutsu illuminated the entire sky. Your strength is not enough. Third Raikage was fighting with his eldest son, laughing loudly. Although his body is not at his disposal, his mind is still his own. In order to preserve the strength of these powerhouses, Sarutobi Asuma can only do this, retaining the thoughts of the reincarnated, in order to maximize the combat power. You have to be careful. I directly launched Raiden Chakra mode, and he planned to fight Third Raikage and 8 Tails Jinchuriki alone. Third Raikage and Killer Bee didn't seem to be infected by each other's passion, and rushed forward one by one. The people who were fighting looked at the 3 father and sons speechlessly. The family are all simple-minded, well-developed guys. Shouldn't Third Raikage and Eight Tails Jinchuriki be talking about their own weaknesses? This is a few 847 meanings. And you told the people of Impure World Reincarnation to be careful? Are you worried about breaking their paper? Compared with these three, second Tsuchikage is much more reliable. While exchanging dust escape with Onoki, he reminded him with words. Onoki, my avatar is hiding behind you, now, get out of the way. Hearing second Tsuchikage's words, Onoki dodged sideways, and as expected, after second Tsuchikage's clone appeared, a dust escape shot out. Fortunately, there is a reminder from the ontology. One must know that second Tsuchikage is not only powerful in dust escape, but also has the ability to use ninjutsu to hide himself, which is also quite daunting. Master Wu, Shao's bastards, I'm really sorry for disturbing you, it's my incompetence. It's okay, Onoki, the guy who used Impure World Reincarnation, I don't know where he is, but he caused you trouble. My lord, I will use all my strength, come on, Onoki, let me see your growth over the years. Dust escape. Original realm stripping technique, ×2. Boom. In midair, Onogi and Wu's dust dune confronted each other, which was really frightening. This dust dungeon was nothing to a strong man like Uchiha Madara. But for ordinary ninjas, as long as they get hit a little, they will disappear in the world immediately. Chapter 167 I am already the king's lord. At the same time, countless powerhouses fought together. Because of the characteristics of Impure World Reincarnation, coupled with the top combat power, it is obviously not as good as Uchiha Obito's side. Soon, the situation became weaker for the Illusory Kingdom. It was not a pity that White Zetsu died, but the people of Impure World Reincarnation would not die at all. But this kind of loss is unacceptable to the Kingdom of Illusion, and fresh life disappears every minute. This made Namikaze Minato very anxious, but unfortunately he is now facing the siege of 4 Jinchuriki and has no time to support him. To add insult to injury, 2 legendary ninjas, Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, also came out. Hashirama, it's been a long time, but this time we can be considered a different kind of joint battle, right? Facing Uchiha Madara's nostalgia, Senju Hashirama didn't have a good face. Madara, we are all dead, why do we still keep our obsessions after we are dead, and even hurt these people in front of us? These are the people we once wanted to protect. HMPH. No matter how long it takes, I hate your argument. As long as you follow my plan, soon, this ninja world will truly be at peace. Why are you still unclear? There was a bit of hatred in Uchiha Madara's tone. He let Senju Hashirama know a lot of things, including his own suspended animation, and the stone tablet of the Uchiha clan, and finally the entire project Tasuki no Mi came out on the tray. Not only because I feel that Senju Hashirama is no longer threatened by being controlled, but because I am lonely for a long time and want to talk to someone. Even if all the plans were revealed, no one in the Akatsuki organization dared to complain. Uchiha Obito didn't care, and the others didn't have the strength to challenge them at all. Having Uzumaki Nagato who does not belong to their own Rinnegan can make them bow their heads. In this heyday of Uchiha Madara, who would dare to do it desperately? On the ground, Uchiha Obito finally came back to his senses, stood up slowly, and looked at Namikaze Kirito who was teasingly looking at him not far away. Namikaze Kirito, what can you do if you are strong? Look around you. Uchiha Obito pointed to the battlefield, where the Phantom Kingdom ninjas were killed and wounded, accompanied by painful wailing. I can stop you alone, but the person you care about will be completely destroyed by it soon. Obito, you have learned some psychological warfare, but you may have forgotten it. Saying that, Namikaze Kirito pointed to the golden Rinnegan in his eye socket. If they die, I can bring them back to life. Even a Shinigami can't take anyone without my permission. This sentence made Uchiha Obito pause. He's definitely used to Namikaze Kirito resurrecting people. Advertisement: the 4th generation couple, all the ninjas and civilians of Cloud Shinobi Village, and of course, his beloved, Rin Nohara. Speaking of psychological warfare, Namikaze Kirito suddenly smiled. I saw Uchiha Madara in the distance chatting with Senju Hashirama. I'm afraid it won't be long before that guy will launch the final plan, right? Now is the last time to torture Obito. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito slowly landed beside Uchiha Obito, who raised his Zen staff and looked at him vigilantly. Yoizumi Hirazaka. A dark scene appeared beside the two, and a girl with a youthful smile came out. Seeing the person coming, Uchiha Obito's pupils constricted. Isn't this the Lin he misses so much? Namikaze Kirito, what do you mean by bringing the ball out? Facing Uchiha Obito's questioning, Namikaze Kirito said gently, don't you want me to return Lin to you? Now she is here. Nohara Rin looked around. She was not used to this kind of war scene because of her kind nature. When she saw Namikaze Kirito, her beautiful eyes lit up, and she threw herself directly into the opponent's arms. My lord, you are here. Nohara Lin's face was full of excitement, and everyone could see the shining love. Uchiha Obito is even more frantic. This is his goddess. It was entirely for her that he became what he is now, and in the end, he never appeared in her eyes. But even then, Uchiha Obito didn't make a move, still staring at Nohara Rin so fixedly, just like him when he was young. Lin, I asked you to come here to see him, because he will die soon. Hearing what Namikaze Kirito said, Rin Nohara looked at Uchiha Obito suspiciously. As a result, the look of excitement on his face disappeared, replaced by coldness. It's Obito, didn't I tell you last time? Against the king, I will never forgive you. Lin. Even though Uchiha Obito has become 10 Tails Jinchuriki, he is still like a helpless child facing Nohara Rin. Advertisement. His heart was twitching non-stop, and the bone marrow feeling made him weak for a while. Namikaze Kirito was very satisfied seeing Uchiha Obito's miserable appearance at this time, which was the pain he was enduring at that time. Now finally let Uchiha Obito feel it once. Lin, don't talk about him like that. Even if he disobeyed me, he has always liked you in his heart, and because of you, he became what he is now. Uchiha Obito was puzzled when he heard what Namikaze Kirito said. What the hell does he mean? However, he soon understood Namikaze Kirito's purpose. I saw that Nohara Lin didn't feel the slightest bit of guilt or joy when she heard these few words. So cold. Obito, I'm sorry, we are not suitable. I have never liked you. The king is my life, and I am already one of the top 10 people in the country. When he said this, Nohara Lin's face was full of shyness. Uchiha Obito, who is used to seeing the darkness in the ninja world, is no longer the first brother in the past. Of course, the meaning of this sentence, Noma-s, can be understood. It's his? Who? Namikaze Kirito. Uchiha Obito's eyes were blank, and his figure couldn't help shaking. One can imagine how exciting this incident was for him. Namikaze Kirito. You dog and man. Finally, Uchiha Obito couldn't bear it anymore, and a terrifying aura burst out from his body. The sword of the Amanuma spear in his hand directly stabbed Namikaze Kirito's nephew. But Namikaze Kirito seemed to be locked in place, without dodging or even defending, allowing Uchiha to stab him with the king. Poof! A burst of blood rose up. Instead of being happy, there was a look of disbelief on Uchiha Obito's face. It's Lin. Nohara Rin sees that Namikaze Kirito is about to be hurt. How could she ignore it as she is engulfed in it both physically and mentally? Chapter 168. I killed Lin. Lin. Seeing the scene in front of him, Uchiha Obito yelled out. How is it possible? How could Lin suddenly block this sword? Seeing Nohara Lin's weak appearance, Uchiha Obito flashed back the scene many years ago. It was also a sunny day, and he saw his best friend's handhole waiting for Lin's body. It was also that scene that made him what he is today. I want to create a world with Lin. But fate tricked people. Lin was resurrected, and she stood by her greatest enemy, and even dedicated herself to the other party. Obviously everything was for Lin, but Lin didn't even take a serious look at herself. Those eyes are full of the shadow of Namikaze Kirito. Just now, under the stimulation, she stabbed a sword, but she blocked it with her life. Don't, Lin. Uchiha Obito yelled and rushed forward, and the Amanuma spear held in his hand was also shattered due to the collapse of his heart. Even if the Tianmar spear's sword shatters, it can't save the person it stabbed. There was no spurt of blood on Lin's chest. The fresh blood was swallowed up by some unknown force. Even the wounds left are constantly extending outward. This is the sword of the Tianmar spear. As a sword of the divine way, its power is extraordinary. How could a mortal physique like Lin block such a powerful force? Boom! As soon as Uchiha Obito rushed over, he was knocked away by a repulsive force, but he still didn't give up. He rushed over again and again, and was knocked away by the repulsive force again and again. He even forgot his own strength, and only knew to keep rushing forward, as if he was using the pain of being knocked into the air to ease the broken heart. Rin Nohara lay quietly in Namikaze Kirito's arms, looking at the man in front of her with passionate eyes. My lord, I'm sorry, I took the initiative and blocked this blow for you. Seeing Nohara Lin's appearance at this time, Namikaze Kirito's eyes were a little complicated. In fact, based on his reaction, he could have pushed Lin away, but he didn't, and instead let Lin block the blow. The purpose is to make Uchiha Obito feel what it is like to be helpless when a loved one dies in front of him. Advertisement taking Nohara Lin's body was also for the purpose of taking revenge on the king. But unexpectedly, now that something happened, seeing Nohara Lin's appearance made him a little uncomfortable. There's no reason for that. Could it be that I fell in love with this girl? Sorry. Thousands of words were speechless, and they were merged into 3 words. Before Namikaze Kirito could continue to speak, Nohara Lin stretched out a jade hand to cover the other's lips. My lord, you don't need to say I'm sorry. In fact, I don't know what's going on. When the sword pierced in just now, I suddenly had a lot of things in my mind. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito's pupils shrank. Secretly sighed, is it really the sword of the Tianmar spear? As the sword of the heart, it helped her restore her memory at the moment it pierced Nohara Lin. In other words, the current Rin Nohara is the Rin Uchiha Obito really knows. Uchiha Obito, who hit the repulsion again and again, also heard the words of Nohara Rin. A trace of joy suddenly appeared on the already crazy face. Lin, do you have a memory? It's me, I'm Obito. But even Rin Nohara, who recovered her memory, still did not look at Uchiha Obito, but continued to look at Namikaze Kirito with tender eyes. Hey, just say what you want to say. Namikaze Kirito didn't know what to say at this time. He could only sigh lightly. A rare trace of guilt appeared in his heart. Nohara Lin shook her head lightly and continued to speak. Master of the country, no. Let me call you Kirito. I was full of obsession with you before, so I went to Lord Orochimaru. I wanted to know about your past, and finally heard everything you went through. I loved you even more then, you were too bitter. Saying that, Rin Nohara put her hand on Namikaze Kirito's cheek. You should hate Obito, even if you implicate me, you should, and you saved the entire ninja world, and let the ninja world fall into CBEI, true peace. I should have hated you when I recovered my memory, but I found that I couldn't. The recent events suddenly appeared in Nohara Lin's mind. Although the memory has changed before, but the personality will not change. I pester Namikaze Kirito every day. The two go shopping together, eat together, and even do embarrassing things together. Advertisement. These beautiful memories are in Nohara Lin's heart. I don't know when, it seems that I have been completely infatuated with the other party, which has nothing to do with memory. Is truly in love with Namikaze Kirito. So even if the memory is restored at this time, Nohara Rin's gaze towards Namikaze Kirito is still full of love. I'm really in love with you, Kirito, one day in the future, won't you? Will you think of me too? Now Rin Nohara has completely disappeared from the chest down, leaving only half of her body, and is struggling to express her love to Namikaze Kirito. Okay. Seeing Namikaze Kirito nodding and seeing the serious eyes, Nohara Rin finally smiled again, then closed her eyes and completely disappeared on the spot. Namikaze Kirito also didn't expect Nohara Rin to fall in love with him so affectionately, even after recovering her memory. When things are over, I will bring you back to life, and then we will be truly together. Regardless of Namikaze Kirito's mental activity, Uchiha Obito just froze on the spot, even kneeling on the ground. Watching Nohara Rin die again in front of her eyes, and she was still wiped out. Uchiha Obito found that it seemed that his heart ached to ultimate, and it turned out to be this feeling. Lin. I killed Lin? Did I kill Lin? No, it was you, Namikaze Kirito. You killed Rin? You could have pushed her away. Facing Uchiha Obito's hoarse cry, Namikaze Kirito didn't pay attention, just stood there, looking at him indifferently. Ha, Lin is dead. I killed her this time. What right do I have to say that I care about her? Until the end, Lin recovered her memory. Did Bionrin still choose Namikaze Kirito? I'm such a complete loser. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Talking frantically to himself, Uchiha Obito suddenly burst out with the power of fear, which made everyone on the battlefield feel a little palpitation. Of course, Uchiha Madara felt the same. He frowned slightly and used the instant technique to come to Uchiha Obito. Obito, what are you doing? Your Lin was killed by the other party's design, shouldn't you take revenge? Chapter 169 Heretics. Rinne Tensai Technique. I killed my beloved Lin. She is so important to me. Why didn't I react at the time? Why? Uchiha Obito didn't seem to hear Uchiha Madara's words at all, and sat kneeling on the ground, muttering to himself, his eyes completely lost in a daze. Seeing his state, Uchiha Madara frowned a little deeper. Obito, what are you doing? Stand up for me, the war, it's not over yet. What? Uchiha Obito raised his head blankly, as if he had completely forgotten what the person in front of him was saying. Is the heart broken already? What a useless fellow. Uchiha Madara mocked aloud, then seemed to have made up his mind, turned his head and looked to the side. Absolutely. I saw a pitcher plant suddenly drilled out of the ground next to Uchiha Madara. It was the black-white Zetsu in Akatsuki's costume. Master Madara, do you want to start? Wait a minute, I go to stop Namikaze Kirito. You will do something to the king. Hey. Okay, Madara-sama. After all, black-white Zetsu split directly, and black Zetsu's body slowly walked towards Uchiha Obito, while Uchiha Madara at the side also walked in front of Namikaze Kirito, looking at him warily. Now that the plan has reached the final stage, Uchiha Obito has become like this. Obviously there is no chance to continue to test the strength of the man opposite him. I can only resurrect myself and do it myself. To cast the outsider Rinne Tensai technique, you cannot be disturbed by others, you must block Namikaze Kirito first. However, Namikaze Kirito was beyond his expectation. Seeing Black Zetsu in his actions, he didn't have any intention of making a move, and there was even a hint of expectation in his eyes. This confuses Uchiha Madara. After waiting for a while, he finally couldn't help but speak. Namikaze Kirito, what do you mean? Huh? What do I mean? Aren't you going to use the Rinnegan to resurrect? I'm waiting, don't worry, I won't disturb you. Obviously, the other party let him use his means, so he should feel happy. But Uchiha Madara didn't think so. As proud as he was, he only felt deeply insulted when he heard Namikaze Kirito say that. Are you looking down on me? Think I can't defeat you even if I'm resurrected? Although what you said is true, I still have to say that I didn't mean it. Advertisement, I can't beat you. Uchiha Madara didn't listen to what the other party said at all, he only heard the other party say that what he said was the truth. That is to say, after Namikaze Kirito thinks that he is resurrected and becomes 10 Tails Jinchuriki, he is not his opponent. Can this be tolerated? Little ghost. Let me tell you, I am not a piece of trash like Obito. After I am truly resurrected, it will be the time when you die. Originally, Uchiha Madara should not let the other party stop her resurrection, but seeing Namikaze Kirito's attitude, she was angry from the bottom of her heart. He has been fighting since he was born, and he has never been insulted like this. Because after seeing the stone monument of the Uchiha tribe, he felt that he was the smart person who controlled everything, and he absolutely could not allow anyone to stand on a higher level than himself. He looked down at himself condescendingly. Namikaze Kirito laughed at Uchiha Madara's words. I said, Madara, don't you want to stop me, afraid that I will plan your resurrection? Why do you mean that you really want me to interrupt? Humph. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly, and continued. I'm just telling the truth. As for you wanting to interrupt my resurrection, you can try. Even the body of impure world reincarnation, I can handle you. Don't worry, I don't have that idea. Saying that, the dark fog in Namikaze Kirito's hand suddenly appeared. The move also put Uchiha Madara on the defensive. But there was a scene that made his jaw drop. After Namikaze Kirito activated his ability, he actually used that ability to conjure a chair. A chair? And sat down majestically. This is simply worse than killing him. Wave. Wind. Tongue. People. Uchiha Madara almost gritted her teeth and said, "How much do you want to look down on me? B asterisk 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 D. I got it. I got it. Oh, I didn't look down on you, just shut up and let me see how you come back to life." Hearing this, Uchiha Madara's head was covered with black lines. Is he still not happy? He is impatient. You can't wait to put the word, contemptuous, on labor and management. Can't say a few more words? On the other side, Black Zetsu has fully integrated into Uchiha Obito's body, and now he is half himself and half Black Zetsu. Advertisement. Asking for flowers. At this time, Uchiha Obito finally regained some sanity. Absolutely, Madara, what do you mean? Obito, just let me control you obediently. Everything I do is for today, for the resurrection of Lord Madara. Black Zetsu's deep and cold voice sounded. Hearing this, Uchiha Obito, who knew Rinnegan well, suddenly thought of a technique. Heretics, Rinne Tensai technique. This is a ninjutsu that can bring the dead back to life. It's also Rinnegan's ultimate pupil technique, but the caster will lose a huge amount of vitality and may even die directly. The Uchiha clan doesn't have a sage body, although they have become 10 tails Jinchuriki, their physique hasn't changed much. If they forcefully use the Rinne Tensai technique, I'm afraid I'll only have one breath left. 0. In the original book, Uzumaki Nagato was able to use the Rinne Tensai technique to revive so many people in Konoha because the sage body of the Uzumaki family has a strong vitality. And not because of the Rinnegan itself. So when Uchiha Obito heard what Black Zetsu said, he immediately struggled. But at this time, struggling was obviously useless, thanks to his despair just now, absolutely took over his body without any hindrance. Damn it. Let me go, Give it up, Obito, you should be honored to be able to revive Lord Madara. Namikaze Kirito looked at Black Zetsu with great interest, but he was the only one who knew Black Zetsu's plan. But obviously, there is no intention to expose the other party. Soon, Black Zetsu took control of Obito's forced seal. Heretic. Rinne Tensai technique. Uchiha Madara on the side is obviously the ultimate beneficiary of this technique. At this time, Uchiha Madara suddenly felt a strange energy appearing in his body, and then the pieces of paper on his body began to fall off slowly. The Rinnegan in the eye socket also became casual, and the Japanese film fell down. In fact, people on the battlefield also noticed this scene, including Sarutobi Asuma hiding in the dark, and even forgot to continue to control those reincarnated people. The scene changed a little too quickly. Chapter 170 Uchiha Madara completely resurrected. Uchiha Obito, who was lying on the ground, was forced to activate the Rinne Tensai technique, and he felt that his life was being lost in a large amount. Even the hair is starting to turn Madara gray. This is far worse than Uzumaki Nagato in the original book. You know, he resurrected a whole village. And Uchiha Obito just resurrected Uchiha Madara himself, and basically exhausted all his vitality. This shows how big the gap between ninjas with sage body and common ninjas is. Uzumaki Naruto in the original book, if he hadn't been sealed by 9 tails since he was a child, then he must be a genius. Ha ha ha, is this what life feels like? Uchiha Madara felt his body and laughed wildly. He had waited too long for this day. It's been so long that I have forgotten what it feels like to have a real body. 450. You. Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Obito's tone was full of resentment. He now finally understood what Namikaze Kirito said before. He was just a puppet. I also heard what Black Zetsu said just now. This is all Uchiha Madara's plan. What is Project Tasuki no Mi? What is creating a new world? I have been a puppet all my life. It is really a sad life. It's nothing more than being a puppet. I saw my beloved woman die in front of me twice, and there was nothing I could do. Living by myself was really painful. Thinking of this, Uchiha Obito unconsciously shed 2 lines of tears from his eyes. Namikaze Kirito, who saw this scene, couldn't help but sigh. When watching this anime in my previous life, I was always angry with the character Uchiha Obito, but also sympathetic. But now that I am living in this world, facing the enemy who killed his father and mother, his fate is considered light. Finally, under the eyes of everyone, Uchiha Madara has been fully resurrected. Then Black Zetsu got down from Uchiha Obito and took the Rinnegan, and White Zetsu appeared right after. Uchiha Madara's 2 black eyes pressed on Sharingan again, and then walked to Senju Hashirama's side, absorbing the chakra in the opponent's body. Today's Uchiha Madara has evolved to ultimate, with sage body and fairy eyes at the same time. Advertisement. It really has the power of everything. Namikaze Kirito, wait, you will pay for your arrogance next. Hearing Uchiha Madara's words, Namikaze Kirito had a strange look on his face. This is not what others should say to Uchiha Madara. How come it is the other party's turn to say it to himself? Before Namikaze Kirito could speak, Uchiha Madara came to Uchiha Obito's side. At this time, Obito was losing a lot of vitality in his body. If it wasn't for the 10 tails in his body, he might look even worse. Sad little brat, you think you're in control, but you don't realize that you're just a flag for me, and what happened to that girl and the white-haired brat was also planned by me. For some reason, Uchiha Madara has enjoyed this way of dealing with others ever since he got hit with Namikaze Kirito. Especially Uchiha Obito's collapsed expression when he heard his words was simply perfect. Madara, I'm going to kill you. Uchiha Obito gritted his teeth. The excessive anger caused the corners of his mouth to bleed continuously, and he was clearly out of breath. Ha ha ha. Do you have this ability? Not to mention now, even in your heyday, you are not half as good as me, and you still want to kill me like this? Uchiha Madara smiled and put a hand on Uchiha Obito's belly. Ten Tails' power was being stripped from Obito's body, so he also screamed in pain. Huo vigorously removed the tailed beast from Jinchuriki's body. The pain was not something ordinary people could bear. Soon, the white scale armor and the terrifying aura on Uchiha Obito's body were completely removed, and Uchiha Madara underwent a huge change. The body is wrapped in White's royal robe, the hair has become Madara White, and the forehead is wrapped in White's horny. On the back of White's imperial robe, there are still several hooked jades. Not only that, if the aura he had before was shocking, then the aura he carried now was complete despair. It is not a dimensional power at all, it is completely heaven and earth compared to the previous Ten Tails Jinchuriki Obito. This is the difference between controlling power and being controlled by power. He didn't need 5 red flames to control Ten Tails at all, his own strength was enough for Ten Tails to be used by him. Namikaze Kirito. Advertisement. The moment Uchiha Madara's strength reached its peak, he came to Namikaze Kirito's side, looking at him with fighting spirit. This is my real power, and now you are nothing more than mere gravel in my eyes. I can't even feel the power in you, what a weak human being. This confident look is in line with Madara's flamboyant, cool and flamboyant character. However, Namikaze Kirito looked at each other meaningfully, and those gold renegons were shining brightly. Madara, although I don't want to hurt you, I still want to say that even if you become a Ten Tails Jinchuriki, in my eyes, you are not much different from a child, because our Liwang is not at the same level at all. Saying that, Namikaze Kirito directly released all his aura. Boom. A wave of gold's coercion swept the audience, even causing cracks to appear in the sky. The ground was shaking, the air was screaming. Namikaze Kirito had never shown his full strength in front of others since reaching this level. What I said just now is correct. After not owning Rinnegan, and after half of the unlocking of the template, he will deal with Daejeon Mokpa style. Today, he has reached the peak in all aspects, and his strength is completely beyond Japanese. What? Even the people on the battlefield in the distance were overwhelmed to the ground because of Namikaze Kirito's occasional aura, not to mention Uchiha Madara who was targeted. At this moment, he only felt that there was a mountain peak pressing down on 1.9. This intense suffocation made him dizzy. How is this possible? How can you be so strong? Uchiha Madara's tone was full of disbelief. He really felt the gap between himself and the other party, and this perception directly gave him a sense of despair for the first time. With the fairy eyes of Sage Body, he has already stood at the pinnacle of this world, and even became the Jinchuriki of 10 Tails, but even so, is he still unable to suppress the opponent? Instead, he was the first to be intimidated by the opponent's momentum. I absolutely do not admit it. Uchiha Madara has a ferocious face, and at this time he is very much like the previous Uchiha Obito. As if stimulated, Uchiha Madara didn't intend to fight Namikaze Kirito at all at this time, but put his hand on his forehead instead. Chapter 171 Infinite Tsukuyomi. Crack. Uchiha Madara put her hand on the horny forehead protector between her foreheads and pulled it hard. Accompanied by a crisp sound, the horn was pulled away fiercely. There was a slit between his forehead, and then the slit slowly opened, and a scarlet 9-gauge Jade Reincarnation Sharingan appeared in it. Namikaze Kirito. No matter how strong you are, what can you do? Facing Project Tsuki no Mi, you can only fall into eternal sleep, including the entire ninja world. Uchiha Madara stretched out her arms and shouted frantically. That's right. He already knows that Namikaze Kirito cannot be defeated by pure force. If he knows that he is invincible and tries to fight forcefully, then he may not be able to complete his Project Tsuki no Mi. So he directly changed the method, launched Project Tsuki no Mi in advance, and looked at the people in the ninja world below, and at this time they all looked exhausted because of the previous battle. This time is just right to execute the plan. Afterwards, Uchiha Madara ignored Namikaze Kirito and jumped straight up into the air. I saw the scarlet eye on his forehead directly on the bright moon. Infinite Tsukuyomi. Directly launched a terrifying ninjutsu that envelops the world. At this moment, no matter where people are in any corner of the world, they cannot escape the blood-red moonlight, but the moment they are illuminated, the whole person falls into a state of sluggishness. In the center of the battlefield, a big tree piercing into the sky stands in it. Countless branches protruded from it, directly wrapping the sluggish people, hanging on the tree, like a piece of fruit. Namikaze Kirito who saw this scene didn't have the slightest intention to stop it, because the black hand behind the scenes still hasn't appeared at this time. As long as Kagaya is fully revived, he can deal with her by himself, and don't seal her plan for others at all. Then the whole world and even the universe will undergo wonderful changes. I can't believe that at that time, the man behind the scenes covering the world could still endure not to show up. Second Tsuchikage. What's going on here? Is the so-called Project Tsuki no Mi that scary? Third generation Lei Ying. Oops, come back soon. Third Mizukage. That strange giant tree always makes me feel frightened. Yi Kang. Luo Sha, you finally paid the price, but the price is a bit too high. Advertisement Sarutobi Asuma and everyone in Akatsuki's organization also couldn't escape the influence of this ninjutsu, or they didn't even think about escaping at all. A beautiful illusion world forever, isn't that exactly their goal? Because the caster fell into a strange state, the people of Impure World Reincarnation got rid of the control one after another. In a short time, I am afraid that they will return to the Pure Land again. Some people tried to rescue those who were swept away by the sacred tree, but found it was useless. They are just the bodies of impure world reincarnation, and the divine tree has no interest in them. Similarly, their attacks are not painful to the divine tree. Even if you try your best to cut off the sweeping branches, more branches will come later. Facing this scene, they can only stare blankly. But Namikaze Kirito with Gold Rinnegan doesn't have this trouble. The branches of those god trees won't touch him at all. After all, the sacred tree is also planted by the Daijinmu family on various planets, and is finally used to harvest fruits. Owning Gold Rinnegan itself has a touch of Daijin Wood family atmosphere. What's more, the strength and life characteristics of the Six Paths level have completely surpassed that of the human species, and the sacred tree can't absorb it even if it wants to. Another survivor is Uchiha Obito. His life has come to an end, and he is estimated to die soon, so the sacred tree did not absorb him, and let him lie on the icy ground. Looking at his completed masterpiece, Uchiha Madara's face is full of pride. It's finally finished. After waiting for so long, Project Tasuki no Mi is finally realized in my own hands. Then, he floated down slowly and stood in front of Namikaze Kirito. How, kid, this world has truly entered into eternal peace, everyone has eternal life, and everyone has the most real happiness. It is I, Uchiha Madara, who has accomplished this feat. But the expression Uchiha Madara expected didn't appear on Namikaze Kirito's face, instead he saw a pity from that face. That's right, taking another look, Uchiha Madara was sure that the other party was looking at him with pity. What do you mean by that look? Brat, although they know that they are no match for each other, but now that Project Tasuki no Mi has been completed, a truly peaceful world has been created. Uchiha Madara has no scruples anymore. Looking directly at Namikaze Kirito, the aura from his body spewed out crazily, as if he was ready to fight. Namikaze Kirito said softly, Madara, remember what I said before? After all, you are just a puppet like Uchiha Obito. Under the manipulation of others, you started this so-called Infinite Tsukuyomi project. What's the matter? Is it something you're proud of? Advertisement, what are you saying? Uchiha Madara is a smart man, so he understood what Namikaze Kirito said, but he would never believe it. What a joke, who can manipulate him? Uchiha Madara. I have seen the records on the stone tablet of the Uchiha tribe. It says, etc. 850 said that the authorities were fans, but now Namikaze Kirito only reminded a few words, and Zebo Madara responded directly. Uchiha Madara turned around in disbelief and saw the dark figure. Pooh, I was. Madara, do you really think I'm a product of your creation? Don't be kidding, you don't have this ability? Uchiha Madara suddenly discovered a serious problem. The Uchiha steel was passed down from generation to generation by the Uchiha family. Before him, no one had opened the Mangekyo Sharingan. What do you mean, Black Zetsu? But why is this question never mentioned? Moreover, who wrote the words on this steel? Uchiha Obito, who was still lying on the ground beside him, laughed wildly. He is a flag. So what, you Uchiha Madara are not the same as yourself? Ha 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 ha, Madara, I have really worked hard for you these years. Namikaze Kirito is right, you are just a kid being manipulated by me. While Uchiha Madara was still thinking, Black's hand suddenly pierced his abdomen from behind. Originally, the fully sublimated Uchiha Madara didn't care about the wound piercing through his body, but Black Zetsu's hand didn't know what kind of power was covered. At this time, Uchiha Madara couldn't lift a trace of power in his body. Even these powers are leaving him. Is what the other party said true? The reason why I appear by your side is just to let you complete my plan. Now that the sacred tree has bare fruit, your mission is over. Chapter 172. Big Jane Wood Kagaya. Hateful. Uchiha Madara's face was full of ferocity, and he could feel his own dying vitality, coupled with the ridicule of Uchiha Obito. It made him, who was already proud all his life, even more intolerable for such a result. But the strange power in Black Zetsu's hand made him unable to resist at all. Madara, you have to be honored, you will become my mother's nourishment. Ninjas are thieves, they stole my mother's power, and now they should return it. Namikaze Kirito. Are you with this guy? Uchiha Madara ignored Black Zetsu, instead looked at Namikaze Kirito and shouted angrily. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito shook his head. I am not a partner with anyone, I just want to see the direction of the world, and I just know your secrets. After hearing what Namikaze Kirito said, Uchiha Madara fell into a daze. And Black Zetsu behind him looked at Namikaze Kirito with vigilance. After Uchiha Madara became Ten Tails Jinchuriki, although the power of fear is not as good as his mother's, it is still very close. But even so, Namikaze Kirito still blocked the opponent calmly, without even using any strength. I also heard that Namikaze Kirito just said that he understands the plan of himself and others. Here comes the problem. What good does Kaguya's resurrection do for him? Isn't he afraid that when the master of the ninja world returns, he will be liquidated with him? Where did this confidence come from? The more he thought about it, the more strange it became. Black Zetsu even had a thought of not wanting to bring his mother back to life. Because the person in front of him is too weird. The long lifespan allowed Black Zetsu to know the entire ninja world, but he had never seen anyone like Namikaze Kirito. There is also the strange power that the other party is good at, even people from the same big Jinmu family are not his opponents. Is my mother really okay? Advertisement. Black Zetsu, who had always trusted Kagaya, had a skeptical attitude. But now that the arrow is on the string and has to be launched, he will be able to resurrect his mother immediately, and it is too late to think about it. Thinking of this, Black Zetsu's eyes became firm again, and the strength of the star in his hand was strong. Ah! Tilda! With a scream, Uchiha Madara's whole body swelled up like a ball, and his veins burst out. From the scream, it could be heard how much pain he was suffering at this time. Finally it worked. I've waited too long. Black Zetsu was on the side, his eyes full of fanaticism. Namikaze Kirito on the side watched this scene with interest, and Uchiha Obito lay on the ground and watched Uchiha Madara's change. Not long after, the ball finally changed. A transcendent breath suddenly appeared, and the black matter completely enveloped the violently expanding Uchiha Madara. What did I do wrong? Uchiha Madara left these words just before disappearing, and then the black ball shrank again. A woman with long white hair, 2 horns, and a beautiful face suddenly appeared in midair. Who else could it be if it wasn't Daijin Mukagaya? Her eyes are white, and in the middle of her forehead is a 9-Go-Yu reincarnation Sharingan, with a cold and beautiful temperament, completely surpassing all human beings. The eyes are like a god who ignores the common people. The moment she appeared, a terrifying coercion swept across the audience. This pressure is similar to the momentum released by Namikaze Kirito before. Mom! You're finally awake. Black Zetsu looked at the woman in front of him, his tone full of excitement. Thanks a lot. Daijin Mukagaya spoke lightly, and then looked at Namikaze Kirito not far away. You have an aura on your body that I hate very much, the aura of the tribe? Advertisement. Looking at the most noble woman in the ninja world in front of him, I have to admit that no one will be tempted to see the face of Daijin Mukagaya. But Namikaze Kirito easily suppressed the throbbing in his heart. Slowly came to her and spoke with great interest. Daijin Mukagaya. Don't worry, I've already solved the problem for you. As for me, I should be regarded as the native in your name. Daijin Mukagaya didn't speak, the veins on his cheeks were bulging, and he glanced at the man in front of him with his white eyes. He has the chakra of his tribe and the breath of Yuya. He is really a strange person. Then how do you want to solve it? In other words, no matter how hard you struggle, you still can't escape your fate, and you will be forever sealed on the moon. Listening to what the other party said, Kagaya had already guessed what Namikaze Kirito was thinking, but he still suppressed his anger and asked. Do you want the power of a concubine? Although Daijin Mukagaya asked in a flat tone, the aura on his body increased instead of diminishing, obviously showing a killing intent. So he didn't interrupt, but let Namikaze Kirito continue to speak. Then what do you want? And I can be sure that these eyes are monitoring the order of the entire world. If the ultimate goal of the destiny of this world, such as your child Yuya, is to seal you, then you must have been chosen and become the leader of the world. Trial. Of course it will kill you directly, so that no one can seal you. Absorb power. Although he was confused, Daijin Mukagaya could feel, Nuoma Jiao, that what the man in front of him said was serious. Your physical strength is really good, but for me now, it's actually not very useful. Hearing Daijin Emu's question again, Namikaze Kirito continued to answer. I have been stared at by a pair of strange eyes since I was a child. After that, no matter how strong I become, I can't escape the other party's surveillance. Namikaze Kirito shook his head and spoke softly. Mom, he is Namikaze Kirito, you have to be careful. He obviously has the power to prevent your resurrection, but he didn't make a move. Not only that, even the people from the Daijinmu clan who came here were absorbed by him. His pair of the eyes absorbed the power of the opponent. When Kagaya heard what Black Zetsu said, she immediately understood that Black Zetsu was reminding her that it was possible that Namikaze Kirito revived her for the Power Emperor in her body. If I interfere with one of the links, what will happen? My younger brother is the son of destiny this time. He is my relative. I can't do anything to him, so I took you into consideration. Since you will always be sealed, why not let me solve it myself? It can be regarded as helping you. I was thinking, if those eyes are the order of the world, will he appear after I break the order? So I thought, as long as the circulation of the world is closed, then he will definitely appear. You and the child of destiny are all points of the world cycle. Chapter 173 Fighting with the God. It sounds like I still have to thank you? Although he said thanks, the chill in Kaguya's tone couldn't be more obvious. In the face of the constant momentum, Namikaze Kirito seemed very casual. He admitted that Daijin Mukagaya was the strongest person he had ever seen in this world, and it even made him feel a little bit stressed. However, it's just pressure. In the final result, he must still be the winner, but he has been thinking about the mysterious order. If the order appears after killing Kagaya, will he be able to do it? Confronted. The order of the world will definitely have the power to obliterate all creatures in the world. It's okay if it's just personal strength, but if it's really the so-called world, it's very troublesome to fight against. In anime and novels, it is said to fight against the whole world, which sounds very passionate. The whole world here is nothing more than the creatures in the world, and the order of the world, after all, is not a creature. Like, how? It doesn't even have the characteristics of being a creature, how can it be considered as killing the other party? While Namikaze Kirito was still thinking, the big Jian Mahui Yiming on the opposite side couldn't bear it anymore. As the ancestor of chakra, in her eyes, the aborigines in front of her were 710 thieves. What's more, the opponent has absorbed the power of his own people. How to put it, they are all thieves through and through, and now they even threaten to kill themselves. Even though she was indifferent by nature, she couldn't help becoming angry. Yachigami Sky Strike. Shaking the sky with immortality, attacking and defending together, merciless fist. Turn chakra into ultimate, an extraordinary body art that only Otsutsuki Kagaya can use. Chakra concentrates on the palm, releasing countless powerful punches in the air. It is inevitable that fists are used for attack, but for defense, there is no disadvantage after combining with Kaguya's pupil technique, and it is also possible to form an offensive and defensive formation. It is a skill similar to the 8 trigrams air palm that the Hyuga family uses the vacuum palm heel strike to launch, but the power is far different. Boom boom boom. Countless transparent and huge fist shadows appeared in the midair, with the aura of tearing space. They came to Namikaze Kirito in a blink of an eye. It's a big move from the beginning, and obviously Kagaya himself understands it. Advertisement being able to withstand her full strength and momentum, without even being affected in the slightest, such a strong person cannot be solved by simple, atfa, tricks at all. So he directly used the physical technique that even surpassed the 8 inner gates. In the original book, Guy used 8 inner gates formation, and the last kick almost kicked out a big ending. The horror of its power can be seen. As for Yashigami Sky Strike, this surpassed human physical skills, and every fist shadow was no weaker than that night guy, and even a little bit stronger. Faced with such an attack, Namikaze Kirito's gaze also became serious. He has been thinking about what kind of strength his physique has reached now, and then he saw his feet firmly planted on the ground. A fist was clenched in his chest, and White's transparent shock force completely enveloped his fist. Come and try, Yi-ji. After saying that, Namikaze Kirito slammed his fist out. Ka ka ka. The space made a crackling sound like glass shattering. With Namikaze Kirito's fist as the center, dense cracks appeared in the space, and those fist shadows that struck were no exception. Boom. The entire ground was lifted up, the earth screamed, and the ditches were bottomless. Strong physique coupled with full power launched shock fruit. This punch of Namikaze Kirito completely surpassed the upper limit that shock fruit should have. It has even touched the edge of the rules. If someone is in front at this time, it will turn into powder in an instant and disappear completely from the physical state. Seeing that her Yashishin airstrike was destroyed, Dejinmu Kagaya didn't pay much attention to it at first, but the power of shock that followed directly made her pupils constrict. This strange power made her completely unable to understand its principle. More than that, the power emperor in her body also became poisonous. The white Guyu robe on her body also began to shatter, and even her body had cracks. Ocean Hirazaka. Kagaya activated her space ability to escape from the front, but as soon as the black screen appeared, it turned into countless fragments and dissipated into the air. The imperial center of the sky. Seeing that Wangshen Bilyangsaka didn't work, Kagaya directly activated the heavenly imperial center, turning the whole world into a world of ice and snow. After the power of the vibration disappeared, the cracks on Kagaya body were also visible to the naked eye. Advertisement: she is truly immortal, so even if Sage of Six Paths reaches the world's top combat power, it is impossible to kill the opponent. It can only be sealed. The same is true for Mingzuo. As the Son of Destiny, he can only seal the big boss Kagaya, and it is impossible to kill him. So Namikaze Kirito has this guess. The cycle of the world, the Son of Destiny and the Villain of Destiny, must be an indispensable part. Where there is light, there must be darkness, otherwise the world will collapse. If this darkness is really completely wiped out, the order of the world will inevitably appear in front of him. Mom, are you okay? At this time, Black Zetsu is more worried about the safety of his mother than anyone else. One is because Kagaya is his mother, and the other is because if Kagaya is not Namikaze Kirito's opponent, wouldn't he and his mother still have to be sealed, or even killed as the other party said? I'm fine. This brat can absorb the power of the tribe, and he really has terrifying abilities. Dajienmu Kagaya opened his mouth with lingering fear. The weird shock force just now really made her feel the danger of death. She has never seen enough of this kind of power. Could it be that the other party is not from this planet just like herself? Namikaze Kirito didn't take the opportunity to attack at this time, but was enjoying the beauty of the surrounding ice and snow. Kill the ashes together. Seeing that his Yashigami airstrike was useless, several gray bone spikes suddenly appeared on Kagaya's back and hands. These spikes are not the dead bone pulse of the Yoruichi tribe. Even surpasses the weapons formed by Truth-Seeking Ball. Even people from Impure World Reincarnation will disappear immediately when they touch this bone stick. Let alone people. Kagaya knew that if he didn't use his full strength in this battle, he would not be Namikaze Kirito's opponent at all. Therefore, there is no temptation at all, and the first shot is to go all out. Shish. Countless gray-brown bone sticks shot out from her body. Namikaze Kirito, who has read the original book, of course understands the horror of this bone stick. Even if he just perceives it, he can feel the destructive aura on the bone stick. But he still has no intention of evading. Chapter 174, Power of Destruction. The battle between Namikaze Kirito and Kagaya was meant to test his limits. If even Kagaya cannot be crushed, let alone the order of the world, it is better to just smash it. The ability of this bone stick is a big killer to others, but it is really nothing to Chin Y. Leaving aside his 6 paths level strength, even the upgraded armament Haki can offset the destruction effect above. But that's not what he wanted. You must know that the ability of the dark fruit has been completely sublimated successfully. Even the power of the Otsutsuki family can be easily absorbed. Even completely absorbing light, as well as any matter, is now said to be dark gravity, or rather a bit like a black hole. While shock fruit is still in the process of sublimation, Namikaze Kirito has never known what shock fruit needs to continue to develop. After seeing the bone stick released by Kagaya-ji, I finally understood tilde. The power of shock still lacks the power of destruction. Now it's a total of ashes, isn't it the best nourishment for shock fruit? Thinking of this, a thick black mist appeared in Namikaze Kirito's hands, and then formed a vortex. Dark water. Originally, the bone sticks attacking from all directions rushed directly towards the black vortex in Namikaze Kirito's hand. Under this darkness, all power will be absorbed and turned into nothingness. The moment the dark breath appeared, Kagaya-ji stared her white eyes wide. This kind of black power made her feel an ominous feeling in her heart. So she intends to figure out the composition of this power. As a result, the moment she opened her white eyes to look, she immediately looked away. Without him, at that moment just now, she felt as if she was addicted to it. If you keep watching, you will definitely be in danger. That power can absorb even the gaze. The appearance of this darkness also explained well why her people were absorbed by the opponent. This boy. Kagaya-ji muttered to herself. She didn't know what she was thinking about, but Black Zetsu in her sleeve robe didn't dare to speak at all at this time, for fear of distracting her mother. He also felt the stickiness of Namikaze Kirito. Now he even regrets resurrecting his mother. At this time, Namikaze Kirito is using the dark fruit to absorb the power of the co-killing ashes. Advertisement. As soon as that trace of destructive force entered the body, it completely merged with the shocking force. It is conceivable that on the day when the shock of shock fruit appears with a destructive attribute, it will definitely be a full-scale destructive power. Kagaya-ji, I really appreciate your gift, but I'm sorry, I still decided to kill you. I can't wait to see the emergence of order. Namikaze Kirito was smiling all over his face at this time. But that smile made both Black Zetsu and Kagaya-ji feel a little palpitation. Ocean Hirazaka. Seeing that Namikaze Kirito was about to move, Kagaya-ji immediately activated the space spell, intending to dodge first. Unexpectedly, as soon as the shady curtain was opened, Japan's pure white fist stretched out from it. It's Namikaze Kirito. Kagaya-hime is not the only one who can use Wangshen Billionsaka. Boom. Because shock fruit was still sublimating, this punch didn't wear shock power, but it covered armament haki, and even had a hint of tyranny. Ba Tang is in the world of pirates, use Conqueror's haki to entangle and attack. Facing the physically strong Kaido, only this kind of strength can injure the opponent. Similarly, it is still a strengthened force. The fist hit Kagaya-ji's head, and a sound exploded directly. Before Kagaya could understand why Namikaze Kirito appeared, she was punched flying. It crashed into the iceberg in the distance, causing the entire iceberg to collapse. The power of one punch is so terrifying. Damn brat, to treat my concubine like this. Kagaya-ji had just adjusted her figure and was about to stand up, only to hear a click, and one horn on her forehead broke and fell to the ground. Not only that, even half of her face was covered with bloodstains, which was obviously badly injured. But the wound had just appeared, and it healed quickly. This is her confidence, and it is also the reason why Sage of Six Paths has nothing to do with her, because Kagaya-ji, who has eaten the fruit of the sacred tree, is already immortal and can only seal the opponent. There is no way to kill her. Namikaze Kirito didn't show any mercy at this moment. Seeing the other party recovering, he immediately rushed over again. Don't underestimate the concubine's body. Seeing Namikaze Kirito rushing over again, Kagaya couldn't help being furious. Did the other party feel that she was being manipulated casually? Advertisement 0. Asking for flowers. What a joke. Yachigami Sky Strike. Boom boom boom. Unleashed the strongest physical technique with all his strength, and in an instant, phantoms of fists were flying all over the sky. Facing this scene, Namikaze Kirito continued unabated, and secretly covered his body with haki to defend against attacks. Countless fist shadows landed on his body, making muffled noises, but this didn't even slow down his speed. The imperial center of the sky. Seeing this scene, Kaguya-ji immediately activated the space technique. Although Wangshen Hirasaka was useless, this technique belonged to her, and the other party still couldn't copy it. I saw that the world of ice and snow had changed again. Even if she is the creator of the space, she can only abide by the rules here. Then the jade hand cleared, the space changed again, and the surrounding scene changed from the hypergravity space to the world of magma. It is also because of this that Namikaze Kirito is not afraid of the so-called world order. Unlike Kagaya-ji, Namikaze Kirito did not crouch on the ground, but he still maintained a standing posture even though he had difficulty moving. Thinking of this, Kagaya-ji's eyes froze, obviously making some kind of determination. It didn't do Namikaze Kirito the slightest harm at all. It was the first time she had seen such a person after living for so long. Pull me into this space, and you have to abide by the rules, so you can't fight back effectively, and your so-called power has no effect on me at all. This time it is a supergravity space, and there is a terrifying supergravity in this space. Even her clansman does not have such a strong person. But will she throw in the towel? Of course not. 80 gods empty strike, and total killing ashes have been used before. I'm Daijinmu Kagaya. In other words, this space is a small world. Although it belongs to the creator also needs to abide by the rules. At this time, he was looking at Kagaya-ji, who was not far away. As long as the other party comes into the world, they must abide by the rules. What is so terrible about a thing that obeys the rules? Faced with the sudden supergravity, even Namikaze Kirito couldn't help stopping his forward momentum. No matter who they are, they will lie prone on the ground the moment they enter, and of course, this includes Kagaya-ji. That's right, Kagaya knew that what the other party said was true. Chapter 175, Final Truth-Seeking Ball. Your name is Namikaze Kirito, right? Under Black Zetsu's loud reminder, Kagaya knew Namikaze Kirito's name. I saw that she was slowly soaring into the air, and a pair of jade hands wrapped in long sleeves stretched out. If you can really defeat the concubine completely, so what if you kill me? Then, a powerful force gushed out from her body. Kagaya-ji is going to give it a go. The battle just now has proved that in the common state, she is no match for Namikaze Kirito at all. If she doesn't use her full strength, then she will be easily defeated by the opponent. For the proud Wei Yueji, this kind of situation is completely unacceptable to her. Come and try. Saying that, Kagaya-ji's body was gradually wrapped by white substance, and then a white ball appeared in midair. Not long after, a white rabbit with zero reason appeared in the eyes of Namikaze Kirito. What are you laughing at, Namikaze Kirito? Kagaya-ji, no, now it should be said to be the big white rabbit, and she is looking at the man in front of her with a puzzled expression. Could it be that under this posture, I can't make the other party take it seriously? I'm sorry. It's not your problem, it's mine. Namikaze Kirito shook his hand and said apologetically, although we were fighting, you suddenly turned into a cute rabbit, which is a bit of a foul. Cute? What do you mean, is this concubine's posture cute? The big white rabbit has been in a state of bewilderment, she doesn't understand where the other party's smile is, but she still feels a little offended. Come on, use your full strength. Saying that, Kagaya-ji didn't keep it anymore, and White Rabbit stretched out his hand and a ball appeared, with the faces of 9-tailed beasts on it. This is her ultimate form, a complete tail beast. Because 10 tails is a collection of 9-tailed beasts, of course the power of 9-tailed beasts can also be used. In addition, the divine tree from the outside world is continuously providing strength to Kagaya-ji, but this is already her full strength gesture. Countless white arms stretch out from the back of the big white rabbit. Towards the unknown of Namikaze Kirito, he attacked directly. Boom boom boom. Facing these arms, Namikaze Kirito has no intention of confronting them head-on, because these arms are just the use of strength, not Kagaya-ji's body. Advertisement. It doesn't make sense to destroy them all. The whole person rushed directly towards the white rabbit in the air. At this time, the power of shock in the body has also been completely upgraded. It's a great opportunity to test. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito, who was still advancing rapidly in midair, waved his hand like a punch. Ka ka ka. White's power of concussion explodes. The space was broken, and there was a broken sound. Kagaya-ji sensed this familiar move, and she was not hiding it. From White's rabbit mouth, a pure black-tailed beast bomb shot out directly. But the tailed beast bomb also shattered before touching Namikaze Kirito. The huge tailed beast bomb has turned into scattered chakra, floating in the air. Then disappear completely. What's even more strange is that in this world, the place affected by the shock force reveals the turbulent flow of space outside the space. Even if the power of the previous shock shattered the space, it only shattered the space and did not reveal a big hole. The power of shock after sublimation can be seen as Madara. As expected, the power of the common can't resist you at all. At this moment, the huge white rabbit's body also began to be cracked by the shock force, and more than that, the cracks were slowly spreading. This is the effect of the power of destruction. Thinking of this, Kagaya gathered all her strength, and then a wave of black energy appeared in front of her. That is the strongest force that can be used, and it is also her last whole card. Finally, Truth-Seeking Ball. Seal the omnipotent power and summon the pitch-black sphere of chaos. It can annihilate all nature and return the world to nothingness. It is also the starting point of a new space. It is the technique of creating the world and the technique of destroying the world. Ingest the chakra of the ninjas captured by the sacred tree, and maximize the Truth-Seeking Ball. It is the same object as the black ball behind 6-Paths Sage Mode Naruto in the original book, but it is completely incomparable in size. All the properties of the 5 elements, yin and yang, are swallowed together, hiding the power to return the world to nothing, a huge block of chaos. The huge black sphere has even completely exceeded the size of the white rabbit. Advertisement. The moment the Truth-Seeking Ball finally appeared, the surrounding space slowly disappeared. Apparently, this terrifying Truth-Seeking Ball carries the same destructive properties. Is this the power to end the world? It seems that I have waited for so long, and it was not in vain. There was a hint of heat in Namikaze Kirito's eyes. Kagaya-ji's attacks before were too childish for him, and it was not until the appearance of the Truth-Seeking Ball that he felt a long-lost sense of crisis in his heart. The fine hairs on his body also stood upright. Obviously, if one does not respond well, he will also be destroyed by the attack in front of him. But it was this sense of crisis that filled Namikaze Kirito with excitement. Since reaching the 6-Paths level, I have really experienced the feeling of being overwhelmed by heights. Originally, this kind of feeling is not bad, but if the world order keeps staring at it, then this kind of feeling is very bad. Because there is no suitable opponent, so I will not continue to become stronger completely. Once the world order emerges, what should I do then? So after feeling the final Truth-Seeking Ball, Namikaze Kirito knew that the final unlocking of her template should depend on her. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito stopped dodging and fixed his body in midair. The strength in his body began to pour out continuously. A soaring trend suddenly appeared. Kagaya-hime, who was still waiting for the destruction of Namikaze Kirito, opened her eyes wide. At this time, she really understood how strong the young man in front of her was. If she hadn't used the 1.7 ultimate truth-seeking ball, the other party would have easily crushed her. Bring it on. Namikaze Kirito's fists, one wrapped in white's power of shock, the other full of darkness. This black and white power has undergone a qualitative change, and subsequently, Namikaze Kirito's hands merged. Black Baixiang turned into black with purple's power mixed in. Then he integrated all his power into his right fist, and slammed it towards the incoming truth-seeking ball. Boom! There was a loud bang. The two forces collided together. The surrounding volcanoes and magma were all blown away. What's even more frightening is that this small world also began to be unable to withstand the collision of forces, and began to gradually collapse. Between heaven and earth, it was completely enveloped by black. The power to destroy the world is fully displayed. Chapter 176 Sage of Six Paths appears finally. After an unknown amount of time, the darkness covering the world has disappeared. Finally, I was able to see clearly the appearance of this small world. It would not be an exaggeration to describe the small world at this time as riddled with holes. There are big broken holes everywhere, and there is a turbulent flow outside. Occasionally, matter from this side of the world is sucked into the broken hole. Then it was entangled by the turbulent flow of space until it disappeared. And Kagaya-ji also changed from the appearance of the white rabbit back to its original form, and Black Zetsu was completely wiped out when the forces collided just now. He is just a product created by Kagaya-ji with power. As soon as the power of destroying the world appeared, he was only slightly affected, and he was already dead. Kagaya-ji was lying on the ground at this time, the white robe on her body was already tattered. The two horns on his forehead completely disappeared, and even his face and body had large scars. At this time, she was panting slightly, and her beautiful eyes looked not far away complicatedly. Where is Namikaze Kirito's position 03? At this time he walked over slowly, the clothes on his upper body had completely disappeared, and there was a trace of burning on his perfect muscles. The long hair that was originally bundled had fallen down, looking very chic. Although he looked a bit embarrassed, he didn't suffer much damage at all. Compared with Kagaya-ji, one was in the sky and the other was underground. At this time, he came to Kagaya-ji's side, and after taking a look at her, he sat beside this beautiful woman. At this moment, Kagaya-hime spoke. It's the concubine who lost. If you have a way, come and take the life of the concubine. Namikaze Kirito hummed, but didn't move. Seeing that Namikaze Kirito did not intend to kill her immediately, Kagaya continued to speak slowly. Namikaze Kirito, right? I believe your words now. Even the power of creation like the divine tree should not be able to withstand the collision of the power of destruction just now, but look. Speaking of this, Kagaya-ji raised her white and tender arms that were already exposed. Although there are traces of being traumatized by the power of destroying the world, it is strange that it is slowly healing. Can the power that can destroy the world fail to destroy a single person? Kagaya-ji herself knows best. The strength just now is enough to kill her, but why she is still alive, and her body is slowly recovering. Advertisement: this is not her strength at all, but the world is repairing her body. If she hadn't met Namikaze Kirito before, she should have felt that it was because of her destiny. That's why she was able to become so strong. But after what Namikaze Kirito said before, Kagaya-ji understood that what the other party said was true. You are truly a part of the world. It's ridiculous to think about it. She used to be the patriarch of the Daijinmu clan from a distant planet. This world is the area she is in charge of. She gained great power by stealing the fruit of the sacred tree, but the Daijinmu clan also has a rebel party. So in order to suppress the rebellion, she launched Infinite Tsukuyomi in an attempt to create the living weapon White Zetsu. After the war ended, she also used her strength to give birth to twins, Yuya and Hamura. Both children were born with chakra. Gradually, Kagaya thought that chakra could only be owned by herself. She used the reincarnation Sharingan to release Infinite Tsukuyomi on humans, making people fear and awe her, demon. Her desire for chakra eventually directed to her two children as well. In order to get back all the chakra, Kagaya merged with the god tree, turned into 10 tails, and fought with his own children. In the end, Yuya and Hamura launched Six Paths Planetary Devastation to create the moon and seal 10 tails in it, but before being sealed, Kagaya turned his will into Black Zetsu and waited for the chance of resurrection. In fact, her character will not become greedy, or even take action on the child she gave birth to with her own strength. This is simply impossible, but for some reason, there is a voice in her heart telling her to do that. Even her strong maternal love was suppressed. In the end, when confronting one's own child, it was originally one's own strength. Logically speaking, one would never lose to one's own child. But I don't know why, even if I lost, I was still sealed. Now it seems that this is also the will of the world, right? I thought I was free all my life, but I finally found out that I had never escaped from the prison. Thinking of this, Kagaya-ji stretched out her claws towards the sky, and 2 lines of tears flowed out of her beautiful eyes unknowingly. She didn't know why it happened like this. Advertisement. If the man on the side can really end himself, it might not be a good thing. Let's do it. Kagaya-ji didn't notice, her voice was trembling. Even if I already feel that I have seen everything in my heart, there will still be a sense of unknown fear in the face of death. Goodbye. Sage of Six Paths spoke softly, with a hint of complexity in her tone. This is the Sage of Six Paths in the original book. Taking his hand back from Kagaya-ji's head, Namikaze Kirito looked at Kagaya-ji who lost his life, without any fluctuation in his eyes. Has mother been defeated by you? You are really a remarkable junior, and even killed her. You have accomplished what I did not do at the time. It was an old man, and Rinnegan with a pair of purple eyes was obviously there. Namikaze Kirito sighed softly, put his hand on the top of Kagayaji's head, and gently stroked the soft white hair. It seems to be a sigh, and it seems to have a trace of nostalgia for my mother. However, Namikaze Kirito ignored the other party's words, and instead looked at Sage of Six Paths mockingly, as if he wanted to see what kind of conspiracy he was trying to play. Young man, can you give me my mother's body? Since she is dead, she should be buried in the ground. This is the last thing my child can do for her. He is waiting. Just now, the familiar feeling of being watched has returned, and unlike the previous flat gaze, this time the gaze is obviously emotional. Although she didn't know what the 513 was, sure enough, not long after, a phantom appeared beside the two of them. Don't face me with this expression next time, it will become uncute. Then fell into endless darkness. Before closing his eyes, Kagayaheim suddenly felt a feeling that he had never felt before. Cute. The same is true on the forehead, but there is a pair of orangutan red Rinnegan, similar to Kagaya. He also has two horns on his forehead. Chapter 177. Are you joking? Really? As soon as Namikaze Kirito's eyes lit up, he knew that the other party must have a purpose, but it would be too boring to reveal it now. Who are you, old guy? Daijinmu Kagaya is my trophy. I plan to move her back and enjoy it every day. Hearing this, a trace of dissatisfaction appeared on the old face of Sage of Six Paths. Young man, even if she has gone the wrong way, she is also the ancestor of the ninja world. You can't treat her like this. As for me, sorry, I haven't introduced myself yet. I am the Sage of Six Paths you say. Didn't you die a long time ago? Namikaze Kirito said playfully. Yes, I did die a long time ago, and now I am also in the Pure Land, but in order to protect the ninja world, I left a mark here. As long as my mother appears, I will wake up, and then hand over the method and power of the seal to the inheritor. I didn't expect that I just woke up and found that my mother has been defeated by you. If you want a reward, I still have some remaining power, which can be handed over to you, but judging by your appearance, you probably don't care about my power, do you? Hearing the serious nonsense of Sage of Six Paths, Namikaze Kirito finally couldn't bear it anymore and laughed out loud. Seeing that his patient explanation was exchanged for ridicule from the other party, Sage of Six Paths couldn't bear it anymore, and his brows were about to wrinkle together. Young man, I don't know why you're laughing, but I must take away the mother's body. As a son, I will not let you insult her. If Namikaze Kirito didn't know the truth, he would have been bluffed by the other party with this straight-talking appearance. Stop joking around, old man. Namikaze Kirito's unceremonious tone also made Sage of Six Paths' face darken. What do you mean? Are you really the Sage of Six Paths? Or, is the Sage of Six Paths just an avatar of you? Young man, I don't understand what you're talking about. It's okay, then I'll say something that you can understand, Tilda. Facing the confusion and shock of Sage of Six Paths at this time, Namikaze Kirito explained with a smile. Advertisement. If we say that this world needs a balance, it needs the starting point to reach the end point, and the end point allows a new starting point. This is a cycle of the world. It's like our planet revolves around the sun. And if the starting point and ending point are set by people, then in order to maintain the starting point and ending point according to the expected path, then monitoring is required, to prevent the world from going astray. Saying that, Namikaze Kirito pointed to the dead Kagayaheim. She is both the end point and the starting point, but she needs a guide or someone who monitors her so that she can start the starting point and repeat the cycle. What could be easier than being her child, just like she created Black Zetsu, and Black Zetsu also lurks beside Uchiha Madara, making the other party mistakenly think that Black Zetsu is a product of her own creation. I'm right, Sage of Six Paths, Sage of Six Paths may be you, but you are definitely more than Sage of Six Paths. As soon as these words came out, the face of Sage of Six Paths became gloomy. Didn't expect to be seen through by the other party? Thinking of this, he stopped pretending, the originally transparent figure began to solidify, and then a flesh and blood Sage of Six Paths appeared beside Namikaze Kirito. You're smart, outsider, sure enough, you know my identity. Namikaze Kirito said as expected, which confirmed all his conjectures. The other party is really the order of the world, and also knows his identity as a traverser. After all, a life that doesn't belong to this world is born. If the world order doesn't know about it, then it doesn't deserve to be called the world order. Outsider, what is your purpose of disrupting this world? Hearing the inquiry from Sage of Six Paths, Namikaze Kirito showed a bright white fang, and replied with a smile. Of course I was looking for you. To be honest, I don't know why I appeared in this world, but I think you should give me the answer. After all, even if I show up, you are just watching, but you never kill me. Really, is this your purpose? First of all, I want to answer your question, that is, I don't want to kill you, but I am the order of the world. As long as the world is complete, I will not shoot. But now, the endpoint has been terminated by you, and now I can kill you without any scruples. Knowing that I can kill you, I don't know if you still have the courage to continue listening. Advertisement, certainly. Saying so, Namikaze Kirito came directly to Kagayaji's corpse and sat down. At this moment, Kagayaji's corpse began to tremble slightly twice. Without your presence, Kagaya is the beginning and end of this world. This is her destiny. Even if she wants to escape, I will bring her back. You ushered in the real doomsday for the world. I will take action to erase all of you, and then recreate life, that is, the world will be in my hands again. Chima's, and you were born by yourself. At that time, I knew that this world was getting out of my control. I saw him speak slowly. Not only Kagaya-ji, but also those around you, have become a real level of life. It seems to be a brand new life, completely different from the people who cycled the world before, because those people were created by me. I want to take action to restart the world, and that parties will affect me, but it's none of my business that this world is ending itself. That world didn't even look at me, and arranged for you to enter this world. You know, my world has cycled 321,000 times before. Speaking of which, I should thank you, Namikaze Kirito. Speaking of this, a strong murderous intent appeared on Sage of Six Paths. And one day, it will suddenly appear here. As the world order, every time I want to take action to restart the world, that terrifying will seems to appear beside me, so I dare not act at all. And my task is to maintain the cycle of the world until the end of all things. I will restart the world again, and return to the beginning of the ninja world. It can be said that this planet is the center of the universe. Namikaze Kirito's small movements were not noticed by Sage of Six Paths. Hands touched each other inadvertently. Speaking of which, as the Sage of Six Paths of the world order, there is actually a trace of fear on his face. Finally, the world has ushered in a new starting point, which is the time when Kagaya was sealed, but you broke it. Your appearance directly broke this cycle. Not only that, but with your birth, I found that something is changing, and that is these creatures. Chapter 178 What World Order? Ridiculous. Namikaze Kirito, I have to admit that you were able to reach this level in a short period of time. It is indeed because of your extraordinary talent, but compared with the order of the world, you are still an ant. When he said this, Sage of Six Paths had a look of madness on his face. Logically speaking, as the order of the world, how could he have such an expression? So, to some extent, this still verified Namikaze Kirito's inner guess. What an arrogant order, even if I'm an ant compared to the sky, but just based on you now, do you think you can destroy me? Did you really see it? The expression of Sage of Six Paths became indifferent. The other party is right, although his body is the order of the world, but after being transformed into a creature, he cannot use the authority of the world at all. After all, to become a living being means to possess the emotions of life. To heaven, this is not allowed. Even if the world is his, he cannot change this rule. Just like Kagaya, who created a gravity space, but as long as she enters it, she will also bear the supergravity rules in the space. Although I don't have enough combat power to kill or even defeat you in 847, but Namikaze Kirito, I will show you something good next time. Saying that, Sage of Six Paths waved the scepter in his hand. Suddenly, a terrifying force appeared directly on the top of the Zen staff. It was a wave of pure white energy. One could clearly feel the destruction in it, but strangely, there was still a glimmer of life attached to it. This is the power of the world. Although I can only use a little bit of it when I become like this, it is not something you can resist. This kind of power, I call it erasure. It is literally disappearing. It can destroy all substances in the world. I can even restart the world. Feel honored, Namikaze Kirito. Use such a powerful force to destroy you. Others don't have this honor. After I erase you, I will reincarnate in the sky. At that time, even if that terrifying will reappears, it will be useless, because you moved your hand in my state, and he won't even notice it. Afterwards, Sage of Six Paths stopped talking nonsense, raised the scepter in his hand, and White's ball shot straight away, flying towards Namikaze Kirito. And Namikaze Kirito watched the ball coming, without any action. Advertisement: the moment this power appeared, Namikaze Kirito sensed it. Sage of Six Paths is right. This is indeed the will of the world, absolutely beyond the reach of human beings, and no matter what kind of force you use to resist it, it will have no effect. But his backhand has been completed, and there is nothing to worry about at the moment. Why is there no emotion of fear in him? White's ball had already flown to Namikaze Kirito, but Sage of Six Paths looked at him in surprise. The man in front of him still had that indifferent smile. Looks like it doesn't matter to everything. Didn't he know that he was going to disappear? How can anyone be indifferent in the face of death? But before he could react, the corpse of Kagaya-ji suddenly pulled up from the ground, spread his arms, and blocked Namikaze Kirito. She didn't die before, but was temporarily lost her life characteristics by Namikaze Kirito with the power of destruction and dark fruit. When Namikaze Kirito sat down just now, she had already woken up. Hearing the words of Sage of Six Paths, Kagaya-ji was extremely sad and felt a sense of powerlessness. She knew that with the blessing of the world, she would not die from any damage, although she didn't know if this so-called offset could kill her completely. But she didn't care. Through the conversation between Sage of Six Paths and Namikaze Kirito just now, Kagaya-ji learned that knowing that Namikaze Kirito is immortal, the world will not restart. And once he dies, the whole world will fall into a ADFG, once again cycle. If that is the case, it would be better to die directly. So when the white ball flew, Kagaya-ji resolutely blocked in front of Namikaze Kirito. The white ball hit Kagaya-ji, and nothing major happened. Instead, it dissipated directly in place like a bubble. Namikaze Kirito, who saw this scene, laughed. The world makes Kagaya-ji never die, only to be sealed, so how could the white ball, which is also the will of the world, hurt Kagaya-ji? The face of Sage of Six Paths was full of ferocity. Advertisement: Mother. No, Daijinmu Kagaya. Why are you still alive? How can you block my will? Ha ha ha, what order in the world? It's really ridiculous. Namikaze Kirito walked directly in front of Kagaya-ji, stretched out his hand subconsciously, grabbed the cold jade hand, and pulled the ladder behind him. This move made Kagaya-ji feel a little uncomfortable again. But Sage of Six Paths was obviously not in such a good mood. At this time he looked at Daijinmu Kagaya with resentment on his face. But at this time, it is obviously not the case. Shut up, Namikaze Kirito, if it wasn't for this woman, you would have been wiped out of this world long ago. The next step is the left arm, and then the legs. Don't worry, I will keep you alive. After all, collecting a world order is still very interesting. Her heart has become strange since before, and she doesn't understand what's going on, but looking at the back in front of her, she has a strange sense of peace of mind. My hand. What collection one world order? Now, the last sliver of energy has been used up. With this body, even Kagaya may not be able to handle it, let alone Namikaze. But his plan had just come to nothing, and now the body that carried him was severely injured, and it was Namikaze Kirito's words that made him collapse even more. But after the arm was cut off by Namikaze Kirito, there was a layer of black mist on the wound. If he was in a calm state, Sage of Six Paths could find out that Namikaze Kirito was clearly provoking him. Sage of Six Paths pointed at Namikaze Kirito with a Zen staff and roared wildly. Sage of Six Paths looked at his arm in disbelief, and he would recover no matter how seriously injured he was. This was not because of his identity, but because his body itself was immortal. How could I have had enough of this kind of anger? Since the day that Terrifying Will appeared, everything has changed. This is the order of the world? Put a bubble, and then stand there powerlessly. It seems that you are not doing well. The mist completely prevented the regeneration of the body. It was this woman who affected his major events. There was a flash of black light, and Namikaze Kirito had appeared behind him, as well as the amputated arm in Namikaze Kirito's hand, which still held Black's Zen staff. Chapter 179. The Will of Terror appears. Wave, wind, tongue, people. Sage of Six Paths had a hideous face, and the pair of Rinnegan, which should have been purple, had a touch of blood red on them. He thought about what happened to him. Now he is humiliated by the creatures he regards as ants. Emotions are directly ignited. On the other hand, Namikaze Kirito buttoned his ears indifferently, as if he was shocked by the sound tilde. I heard it, why are you shouting so loudly? You forced me to do this. You forced me to. Sage of Six Paths roared at the top of its lungs. Suddenly colorful Guanwei appeared on his body, and his whole body became transparent again. Seeing this scene, a trace of success flashed in Namikaze Kirito's eyes, but the tone of disgust remained on his lips. So what if I force you? Do you dare to reincarnate in the sky? But you are still a loser, and you have turned into the human appearance you least like. What a cowardly sky. Nonsense. I am the order of the entire world, and no one can violate me. After all, the figure of Sage of Six Paths disappeared in front of Namikaze Kirito and Kagaya-ji. At the same time, the entire sky darkened with strong winds and dark clouds. There were still traces of electric light in the pitch-black clouds. This is what the restoration of the world order looks like. Namikaze Kirito. It seemed to be from the sky, and it seemed to be a flat voice from all directions. This is the voice of Sage of Six Paths, but compared to the hoarse voice before, he is very calm at this time. As long as the concept of living things is discarded and it becomes order, then all emotions will disappear. It is also because of this that the world order at this time does not have the slightest hatred for calling Namikaze Kirito's name. Namikaze Kirito, you are a variable in this world. As an order, I will punish you and wipe you out of the world. The real world is about to restart. Hearing this, Kagaya-ji glanced at Namikaze Kirito worriedly. She just didn't want anything to happen to the person in front of her. Although she had never felt this way before, she knew that Namikaze Kirito was already very important to her. Advertisement sensing Kagaya-ji's worry, Namikaze Kirito turned his head and gave him a reassuring look, and then continued to look at the sky. That's right, this was his plan. Sage of Six Paths said just now that once he, as the world order, made a move against Namikaze Kirito, the terrifying will behind him would never sit idly by. So from just now, Namikaze Kirito has been irritating the world order in the body of Sage of Six Paths. Now that the goal has been achieved, the world order is about to attack him. This is really a good result. Of course, Namikaze Kirito is also betting. He clearly knows that with the existence of this world order, he will never be safe in this world. So he is betting that the terrifying will that sent him will definitely make a move. It is impossible to let yourself come to this strange world for no reason. Similarly, to find out the opponent's purpose, even if there is a greater danger waiting for him, it is better than being kept in the dark at this time. Disappear completely in this world, Namikaze Kirito. As the voice came from above the sky, a white ray of light also shrouded it. The moment it shone on Namikaze Kirito, he stretched out his hand and pushed Kagaya-ji out. Don't want. Just as Kagaya-ji wanted to rush in again, Namikaze Kirito used his ability to set him in place. At this time, he could only watch the situation anxiously with those Kongshu pupils. The white light completely covered Namikaze Kirito, and Kagaya could clearly see that Namikaze Kirito's legs had turned into phantoms. Even this phantom is still continuously infected. After a while, Namikaze Kirito has completely become transparent, as if he can be wiped out with just one breath, but the difference is that at this time he still has that smile on his face. It seems that he doesn't care about his disappearance at all. Boom. At the moment when Namikaze Kirito was about to disappear, a special force suddenly appeared, directly scattering the white light, and Namikaze Kirito's figure solidified again. As soon as Kagaya-ji resumed his actions, he immediately came to his side and watched carefully, for fear that he would disappear before his eyes. Looking at this scene, Namikaze Kirito couldn't help being a little dumbfounded. I don't seem to be doing anything, right? Why does Kagaya-ji behave as if the two are already lovers? Of course he didn't know that Kagaya-ji had never cared about a person for so many years, because no one could get into her eyes, and now a man appeared in front of her. 0. Asking for flowers. Advertisement. Not only was he defeated head-on, but he also learned the truth of the world from it. Even being rescued by the other party, the figure of Namikaze Kirito has long been imprinted in her heart, but at present she still doesn't understand what this feeling means. Just know that the man in front of you is very important to you. But of course Namikaze Kirito would not disappoint Kagaya-ji's kindness. He gently held the little hand that kept touching him and spoke softly. Don't worry, I'm fine. Well, is it time to tell me the truth? The reason why it is called a villain is because the other party has just reached the height of his waist. After all, peace was restored between heaven and earth, and Namikaze Kirito's gold Rinnegan looked directly at the sky. It seems that you are very smart. Have you already guessed my coming? It is not in vain that I put you in this world. That is to say, even the order of this world is not a concerted effort, are you? Just when Namikaze Kirito was thinking carefully, a small figure filled with golden light stood in front of him more than once. Just when the two were immersed in the charming atmosphere, a voice suddenly came from the sky. Namikaze Kirito, this is the second time we have met. It seems that I can't escape, that's all. From now on, the world is yours. Don't worry, I'll explain it to you. Before that, I'll give you something nice. Why? His strength has not improved, not even a slight change. Impossible. You can't make a move here. What are you? I understand, so you are the devourer? He knew that the order of the world had disappeared at this moment, and the pair of monitoring eyes that had been falling on him were gone. Kagaya suddenly realized that her heart was beating so fast, and even her face was a little hot, but she didn't hate this feeling, and she let the other party just hold her weak and boneless hands. As he said that, the gold villain stretched out his hand, and there was a ball of white on it. He flicked it lightly, and the white ball floated towards Namikaze Kirito. Feeling the changes in his body carefully, Namikaze Kirito frowned slightly. Who are you, and what is the purpose of choosing me? Then it completely merged into his body. Chapter 180. The ability to travel through the world. But even so, Namikaze Kirito still felt the power in his body quietly. I don't know how long it took, but he suddenly opened his eyes, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Then he stretched out his hand and patted the ground lightly. Numerous exotic flowers and trees grew out of the wasteland. Because of the war, the land here was dilapidated and bleak, but Namikaze Kirito's actions directly brought the land back to life. Kagaya-ji also watched this scene with wide eyes. No matter how much she thought in her little head, she couldn't figure out what was going on. You should know that flowers, plants and trees are also life. Namikaze Kirito's is obviously not in the category of ninjutsu, and it is completely different from wood style. This is truly giving life to the earth. Even a person of Kagaya-ji's level never thought that manpower could do this kind of thing. Facing the scene he caused, Namikaze Kiri, 190, was not surprised at all. Just now, he already understood what calendar area this is. The power of the world. Although Gold's face can't be seen clearly, both Namikaze Kirito and Kagaya-ji can perceive that the other party is smiling at this time. Obviously because of the 4 words Namikaze Kirito said, he was relieved. That's right, it should be said that choosing you at the beginning was really the right choice. You are able to integrate the power of this world so quickly. Are you really worthy of you? You can give me the power of this world, so who are you? Don't worry, I said it before, I will tell you everything, now is the time. Gold little man slowly opened his mouth to explain. You were born into this world, and the reason why you understand the plots and cycles in this world is because you were on the planet in your previous life, and you watched the anime Hokage, right? Then let me tell you, people in that world can create a real world with just one thought, let alone a well-known animation work like Hokage. Not only Hokage, including pirates, but also American comics, novels, etc., are all created by people in that world unintentionally. But although these worlds have been formed, it is because of the existence of the world order that the world circulates infinitely. Advertisement, and what I want to do is to truly liberate this world. You are the person of that world, in other words, you are the key. This stupid world order should have told you before you came. People in this world were not really alive, and they would experience countless restarts. What's the point of a world like a playhouse? When he said this, the tone of Gold's mouth suddenly became a little excited. What I want is to liberate all such worlds. As long as you have this key, these worlds will be truly opened soon. The era of the awakening of all worlds will come. Isn't such a wish great enough? If someone else heard the words of the little gold man, they would probably be excited, but Namikaze Kirito is not as hot-blooded as his younger brother. Instead, he was full of doubts about it. Why bring these worlds to life? Moreover, after the awakening of these worlds, how will it help the person in front of him? What's more, I don't even know who the other party is. How could it be possible for him to go directly to the top just because of a word of his, and say something stupid like I want to save the world? Why did you choose me? Hearing Namikaze Kirito's puzzled tone, Gold's little man also regained his composure and spoke softly. I don't know why I chose you. Although I chose you, I don't know whether it was inevitable or accidental. Anyway, when I was selecting people, I saw you directly and let you carry it. The identity of the key. Then who are you? Me. I have too many names, so many that I have forgotten them. All in all, after awakening these countless worlds, you will get the great benefit of controlling the worlds. I will not snatch these things from you. Just need you to do one thing for me. What's the matter? Help me save a person. There is no way I can save him, but you can. For some reason, Namikaze Kirito, with his suspicious character, said such nonsensical words to Gold, and subconsciously believed him. It may be because Namikaze Kirito empathized with the heartfelt grief of losing a family member in this world. So what am I going to do now? Advertisement? The power of the world in this world. You have obtained it, the world has awakened, and you have become the current master of this world, so you can go to the next world number 70. Of course, in this world, you can still come back. And at any time. Hearing this sentence, Namikaze Kirito nodded. He could feel that the world was slowly connecting with himself. When you are ready, just call my name in your heart, then I will send you to the new world. After all, the little gold figure disappeared in front of the two of them. What's more interesting is that a world-shaking event in the history of pirates is about to usher in. Summit War. Seeing this, Namikaze Kirito didn't say anything, and returned to the fantasy land with Kagaya. His statue was also erected in the very center of the capital of the fantasy country. See Circle Calendar 1520, this is the year when the Son of Destiny went to sea, and it is also a year when countless major events occur frequently. Master of the World, what a great title, who would have thought that Namikaze Kirito could accomplish such an achievement? 2.4 is more shocking that Namikaze Kirito has become the real master of the world. Namikaze Kirito, who came across time, just found a passerby and discovered this fact by using the upgraded Dark Fruit ability. Originally, the matter of going to New World caused everyone to worry for a while, but when they heard that Namikaze Kirito could go back and forth at any time, they were a little relieved. As for going to New World, I have already talked to my family, including my wife and my subordinates. After saying goodbye to everyone one by one, Namikaze Kirito called Gold, without too much nonsense, and directly transported him to a new world, and left the teleportation door in his body, so that you can go back and forth at will. Today's Namikaze Kirito has become the master of the world. Resurrecting others doesn't need any Rinne Tensei technique at all, it's just a thought, and everyone appears in front of his eyes. During this time, there was finally no darkness in the ninja world, and Namikaze Kirito strengthened everyone. In their eyes, Namikaze Kirito at this time has become a godlike figure, and it is strange to be able to subdue the ancestor of the ninja world. Resurrection. There is no need to hide this kind of thing from everyone. Seeing Kagaya standing in front of Namikaze Kirito, everyone was just shocked, but not too much confused. 3 months passed. Chapter 181 Conquerors Hokage Chin Y, who is familiar with the plot of One Piece World, understands that at this point in time, the protagonist group should have arrived at Sabaody Archipelago. Then something big like Summit War will happen soon. Although I don't know what I should do, but since I am getting the power of the world. That said, this war is a must-see. Now at this time, let's get in touch with the protagonist group first. When he had the idea of contacting the protagonist group in his heart, Namikaze Kirito suddenly felt a strange feeling. Logically speaking, I have already reached the 6 pads level, that is to say, I can soar into the air as I wish, or with a flash of thought. Huangquan Bilunsuga's ninjutsu should be at my fingertips. But now the power in the body seems to be suppressed. Of course, the simple power, wood style and constitution have not been suppressed. Those who may not have reached the world level power will not be suppressed. There is also Conqueror's Haki. These are the powers of the pirate world. There is no problem with these, but Rinnegan Obi has a problem that it cannot be used temporarily. Dark Fruit and Shock Fruit were firmly suppressed. Needless to say, in this world, Blackbeard has already got the Dark Fruit, and Whitebeard is not dead yet. In the order of the pirate world, there will be no 2 identical fruits. It seems that if you want to unlock Dark Fruit and Shock Fruit, you only need to go to Summit War to find Blackbeard. As for Rinnegan, Namikaze Kirito looked at the sky. As long as he got the power of order in this world, then it would be fine. Oh, you accepted it very quickly. The voice of the little gold man suddenly rang out from Namikaze Kirito's head. Don't be surprised, this is just a means of contact. I'm not usually in your body, but I'm afraid that you just arrived in the new world and don't understand everything, so I just appeared. The power of order in this world is suppressing the power in your body, but with your current strength, even if you can't use world level power, those strengthened abilities are enough to suppress this world, right? When you get some power of order, you will be able to face up to this world, but I advise you to be careful, because in your previous world, you probably haven't fully understood this world, right? Advertisement. So, when there is a real crisis, you only need to use the order of the Hokage world, and you can liberate your full strength. That's all I have to say, and you can figure out the rest. After all, the little gold man completely lost his voice. Namikaze Kirito felt it carefully, and indeed, the other party's breath disappeared. Just now he was thinking, he is not interested in keeping a mysterious existence in his consciousness all the time. Luckily little gold can understand this. After carefully feeling the explosive power in his body, chakra was not completely suppressed, and his physique reached its peak. With the addition of wood style and Conqueror's Haki is already able to use the tyranny. I am afraid that no one who is known to be strong in this world can single out himself. But these are not certain, after all, they haven't really fought against each other, and in the previous life, Pirate World has not been updated yet. Who knows what terrifying force has never appeared behind. With this in mind, Namikaze Kirito walked casually on the island. A new world has arrived, and all the mysteries have been solved in the world of Hokage. Now it's time to enjoy. Although the island where Namikaze Kirito is located is not very prosperous, the streets are still full of people coming and going. These people looked sideways at Namikaze Kirito. Black's trousers and black boots, White's open-chested shirt, and a black windbreaker on his shoulders, and Red's high ponytail floating with the wind. A few strands of hair fell randomly from the forehead. With that handsome appearance and this attire, he looked like a noble and unrestrained young man. Appearing in this unknown town will certainly attract everyone's attention. Soon, a group of uninvited guests blocked Namikaze Kirito's way. The leader was a burly man with sideburns, dark skin, and scars on his face. It is obviously a character that ordinary people do not want to mess with. When the residents saw these people, they became angry and did not dare to show it. They looked at Namikaze Kirito with sympathy. "Hey, where did this noble young master come from? Come to my uncle's island. Have you paid the protection fee yet? Little devil. Your expression is so unbearable, seeing our captain still kneeling down and handing over your valuables." Hearing the voices of the big man in front of him and the boy next to him, Namikaze Kirito knew. Did he encounter a pirate that is a specialty of this world? However, in the first half of the Grand Line, there is nothing too strong. Advertisement, especially the big man in front of him, he didn't even need to feel it carefully, he knew that he was a cannon fodder character. "Hey, boy, I'm talking to you, didn't you hear me?" Seeing that Namikaze Kirito ignored him, and even looked at himself and others, the pirate captain felt offended. He took out a flintlock gun directly from his arms, pointed at Namikaze Kirito, and shouted angrily. "What a croaker!" Namikaze Kirito's eyes froze, and an aura suddenly appeared. The wood in the surrounding booths cracked. Conqueror's Haki. Obviously, the captain did not have the courage to face Namikaze Kirito. As soon as Haki came out, 680 fell down with his eyes white. The followers behind him also began to fall to the ground one by one. This is the first time to use Haki in this world, and Namikaze Kirito probably increased some of its power. It is estimated that the pirates who fell on the ground will be a group of idiots when they wake up. Only one pirate boy was left, and he was watching this scene in astonishment. His boss, including his companions, all fell down. The person in front of him hasn't even made a move yet, what's going on? But I can't wait to think, this devil-like man has come to him, with a smile on his face. Ah. Pirate Mazai threw away the weapon in his hand, and sat down on the ground in fright. But soon, he reacted and quickly fell to his knees on the ground. Master, please spare me, I beg you. Okay, stand up, I'm not interested in your life, I just want your boat to take me somewhere, is that okay? Hearing this, Pirate Mazai knew that his name had been saved, so he quickly stood up and spoke obsequiously. Don't worry, our navigators are not here, you come with me. I will let them take you to the destination, even if you go to the mountains of swords and seas of fire, we will definitely deliver you safely. Chapter 182 Sabayati Archipelago. Sabayati Archipelago. Near the naval headquarters, there is the world's largest mangrove tree, Yarchiman mangrove, because the roots of the tree are always exposed to the water, the Sabayati Archipelago is formed. The whole island is composed of 79 trees, all of which are numbered, and there are towns and facilities on each tree. People call the archipelago of these 79 islands the Sabayati Archipelago. The regional division of Sabayati Archipelago is also very clear, based on the numbers on the tree. Numbers 1 to 29 are illegal areas such as human trafficking shops. Numbers 30 to 39 are amusement parks. Numbers 40 to 49 are sightseeing areas, selling souvenirs. Numbers 50 to 59 are shipyards with coding craftsmen. Numbers 60 to 69 are the entrance and exit areas of marine and government. Numbers 70 to 79 are Hotel Street and other places. The biggest feature of Sabayati Archipelago is that the roots of the alkaman mangrove secrete a special natural resin due to respiration. The resin expands with air to form bubbles, and then flies to the sky. Since the bubbles are only suitable for the climate range of the archipelago, once the bubbles leave the climate area of Sabayati Archipelago, the resin components will not be able to fully exert their power. Bubble cars, bubble Ferris wheels, houses built on bubbles. Bubble culture permeates every place in Sabayati Island. Because it is the only place to go to the New World, many pirates, merchants and bounty hunters gather here. In the past 2 days, the island was very interesting. 11 supernovas appeared on the island at the same time, which is very spectacular. But here, they also have to keep a low profile, because it is too close to the naval headquarters, not to mention that there are world nobles, celestial dragons here. Namikaze Kirito arrived here in a short time on the robbed boat, and destroyed the treasure he was wearing. I have to say that the profession of pirates is really fat. Just such a little-known little pirate has a lot of wealth, which can allow the people of common to live comfortably for a lifetime. After all, it was the other party who provoked him first, so Namikaze Kirito didn't feel any guilt. Now that you have decided to enjoy the world, how can you have no money? Stand on the ground of the Sabayati Archipelago, breathe in the sea-scented air, and watch the prosperous islands. I have to say that in terms of scenery, it is much higher than Hokage world. Coming here, of course, I'm going to the rip-off bar. Whether it's to inquire about news or contact the protagonist group, this is a good start. Shaki's bar is located in Area 13. With the ability to know the plot well, Namikaze Kirito found here very quickly. Advertisement impressed with observation Haki upon arrival. Is it really here? With an inexplicable smile, Namikaze Kirito pushed open the door of the bar. In the Shaki bar at this time, Destiny's son, Monkey D. Luffy, is feasting on the trio with Brook Chopper, alongside talking starfish, mermaid Kami, and octopus. A few people were chatting and laughing, and when they saw the door was opened, Sha Xian smiled and spoke directly. Sorry, customer, we are closed today. But before he finished speaking, seeing Namikaze Kirito, Shaki's eyes showed a trace of solemnity. She used to be the emperor of Amazon, and even a famous pirate. Although she has retired now, her strength and sensitivity are still there. Otherwise, it would be impossible to be an intelligence merchant. From the moment she saw Namikaze Kirito clearly, she felt the difficulty of the person in front of her. She only felt this feeling in her old man Raelian Garp, the marine hero who hunted her down. Ripping off the bar, please bring me a glass of 100,000 Baileys. While talking, Namikaze Kirito went straight to the chair and sat down. Luffy on the side also looked sideways at the other party, but then continued to work on the food in front of him. Monkey D. Luffy, who was still stuffed with meat in his mouth, turned his head again and looked at the smile on Namikaze Kirito's face when he heard the dream called himself. He opened his mouth full of doubts. Who are you? I am a traveler. I have heard about your deeds and think you are very interesting. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to continue eating. Luffy, who is very nervous, doesn't care whether others are interested in him or not and continues to eat. And Shaki handed Namikaze Kirito a glass of wine, and then stared at him closely with a pair of beautiful eyes. Traveler. No wonder there is no information about you in the world. Logically speaking, a strong person like you should not be unknown. Sure enough, my information is not perfect either. Thank you, I just recently appeared on this sea, and I want to have a taste of the scenery here. Advertisement. After drinking the wine in the glass, Namikaze Kirito sighed. It's really a good wine. 100,000 cups, thank you for coming. After Shaki felt that the other party was not malicious, he filled the empty glass with wine again, and put on his signature smile by the way. Namikaze Kirito waved his hand, and a small black screen appeared beside him. Although the ninjutsu like Wangchen Bilyangsaka was suppressed, there was still a gap, which was perfect for storage. He went deep into it with his hand, took out a large package and put it on the counter. Bailey, just take it from the inside. Shaki watched the scene in amazement. This is the ability of devil fruit, right? I really don't know what kind of devil fruit it is. But these are all other people's secrets, and I don't want to ask too many questions, so I opened the package directly. A bunch of Baileys and dazzling jewels were displayed in front of everyone. Please help me to replace all the extra jewels with Bailey. The ratio can be calculated according to your conversion. Hearing this, Shaki's eyes lit up. He could earn a lot. Hastily agreed. After working for a while, Shaki spoke again. Traveler is really a profession that earns money. Can I ask your name? Namikaze Kirito. Of the money, Namikaze. Guessed, your surname is a bit like Wanokuni. I don't know, but I haven't been to Wanokuni yet. In the future, Wanokuni can be regarded as one of my travel goals. The owner there has a bad temper. If the guests go, be careful. Luffy ate the meat in front of him, while Chopper gnawed on the marshmallow, and only Brook watched Namikaze Kirito carefully. I also heard a rough idea of the conversation between the two just now. If you didn't guess wrong, the handsome young man in front of you is a very strong man. I don't know if his interest in his captain is a good thing or a bad thing. After drinking the wine in the glass again, Namikaze Kirito put Shaki's replaced Bailey into the storage space again. Get up and say goodbye to the other party. After Namikaze Kirito completely disappeared in the bar, Shaki solemnly said to Luffy and others. Chapter 183. Auction site. That man is very difficult to mess with, little monkey. Remember not to conflict with him, Tilda. Listening to Shaki's words, Brook nodded thoughtfully, but Luffy was still as nervous as ever. Really, I think he is a good man. I shouldn't beat him up. Saying that, Luffy raised his arm and then continued cooking. Shaki looked at Luffy's appearance and couldn't help laughing. Are all members of the D family like this? Where did you get the confidence to be able to beat people up? After Namikaze Kirito left Shaki's bar, he came to the lively neighborhood of the island for a walk. No matter what kind of food it is, he has to taste it, which makes him feel a completely different fun from the world of Hokage. When I was in the Hokage world, I always had a big stone on my heart, and I didn't enjoy it at all. When I was young, I was always struggling to revive my parents, and then I unified the ninja world, fighting against Uchiha Madara, Obito, and Yinji and Mukagaya. In the end, he confronted the world order head-on and never seemed to be idle. Now the relatives and loved ones in the Hokage world are safe and secure, and I have also come to a new world. I felt a way of living that I had never tried before. After meeting Luffy, the Destiny's Child, at the bar just now, he discovered that although 383 is sporadic, Luffy has the blessing of world order on him. He had also felt this kind of power in his younger brother Uzumaki Naruto. It's just that at that time, I didn't know what this power was. If you get in touch with the protagonist group more, you should be able to quickly gain the power of world order, right? In this era of great pirates, there are heroes everywhere, unlike the world of Hokage, Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke, Daiji and Mukagaya. In that world, only 3 people have the blessing of the power of world order. And in this world, every famous hero probably carries a trace of world power with him. After all, that's the way the world is viewed. In order to have some power of the world as soon as possible, besides getting in touch with the protagonist group more, it seems that the fastest is the Summit War. Although he has a crush on Whitebeard and Ace, Namikaze Kirito is not a bad guy. I didn't think about stopping this war in advance. When you appear on the spot, if you are in a good mood, you can help the other party. Boss, serve me some signature dishes. Namikaze Kirito came to a restaurant. This, Adolf, seems to be the most crowded restaurant on the street. Advertisement that must taste good. With this in mind, he found an empty table and continued. Observation Hockey has already swept the audience. Sure enough, there are many familiar faces from previous lives. They are all supernovas, and now they eat very well, and when Kizaru arrives, I guess they will be beaten up and spit out all the food they eat now? Namikaze Kirito didn't intend to contact everyone now, instead he was eating by himself. Just because he doesn't pay attention to others doesn't mean others don't pay attention to him. The mafia in the One Piece world, Capone Bege, and Jewelry Bonnie, the king of appetite, are all looking at this handsome and extraordinary man. Not everyone is as neurotic as Luffy. To be able to become a supernova, their own strength and vision will not be too bad, otherwise, it is impossible for them to flourish one by one after 2 years. Although Namikaze Kirito didn't release any aura, but just watching him, there was a feeling of heart palpitations. Pirates who have been licking blood all year round trust their intuition. One of the supernovas across the street, Basil Hawkins, hides in the shadows and sees Namikaze Kirito eating through the glass with emotionless eyes. The cards in his hand kept changing. This man's fate is invisible, like a fog. Just as Namikaze Kirito was enjoying his delicious meal, the kidnapping of the mermaid Kami still happened, and soon, people from the Straw Hat crew got the news, planning to go to the rescue. The big event about celestial dragons in the original book is about to start. But different from the original, there is one more Namikaze Kirito. He doesn't like celestial dragons himself, so he won't miss such a grand event. After tasting the perfect food and asking passers-by for directions, Namikaze Kirito walked towards the auction. Obviously it is so close to naval headquarters. In the name of justice, they ignore the human trafficking on the island because of the order of the so-called creator of the world, the celestial dragons. Have to say, this is kind of sad. In the auction house at this time, people from Straw Hat Crew and Octopus Zalba are watching the auction with serious expressions. Frankie. What should we do now? Advertisement Nami. There are still a lot of treasures on the ship. After a little calculation, there are also 200 million. Nami, who loves money the most, does not give up on treasures at this time, but instead looks at the anxious Zalba. What's the auction price for the mermaid? Hearing this, Xiaoba said in a flustered face. That much talk is enough, but I can't afford it. What? Hachi, are you Kai's guardian? That's not true. It doesn't matter how much it costs to get our friends back, everyone's fine. Of course, we'll be fine. Xiaoba and Haixing on the side had tears in their eyes and shouted loudly. I'll never forget Dian. With a smile on Nami's delicate face, she walked towards the auction house. Sanji looks like a nympho in the back. At this time, everyone on the island saw today's newspaper. It says Fire Fist Ace is about to be executed. Many pirates were still lamenting that today's Saboti archipelago's defense is weak, but this is not the case. Most of the naval headquarters forces are planning to deal with this war. Whitebeard is notorious for defending his weaknesses in the sea. Marine caught Ace, and Whitebeard will never sit idly by. This war is already a certainty. In the auction house, this time, an uninvited guest was ushered in. Celestial dragons were frantically beating their slaves. The rest of the people were watching this scene quietly. Even if they looked unhappy, no one dared to say anything. As long as it hurts the slightest hair of celestial dragons, it will attract the highest combat power of naval headquarters, 3 admirals. So even the unruly pirates would not touch this bad luck. At this time, the auction also ushered in a climax. The music sounded, and the backstage staff pushed up a round object covered by a white cloth. The host is doing his best to introduce. I believe there are many people yearning for her. Please take a look at this figure. As he spoke, countless lights shot onto the stage, and Kami's obvious mermaid figure was also reflected on the white cloth. 184th chapter 500 and 100. The mermaid is worthy of being a mermaid. Just seeing this figure, it caused a round of cheers from the people present. Seeing that the atmosphere was also at its peak, the host was not in the ink and spoke directly. I've been waiting for a long time. Next, let's reveal it together. Please appreciate carefully. The staff lifted the white cloth, and the unique body of the mermaid appeared in front of everyone. It has to be said that although Kami is only a common mermaid, because of the inherent advantages of the race, the beautiful face made the people present burst into admiration. What a young mermaid. This is a treasure. The celestial dragons who were sitting on the chairs had unstoppable greed in their eyes. Catching mermaids is too much trouble. In the deep sea, few slave traders can bring mermaids up from the heavily guarded Mermaid Island. What's more, the flag of Whitebeard is hanging on Mermaid Island. The strongest man in the world, and an exceptionally rare companion, who dares to make trouble, isn't that pure courting death? So Kami's precious can be imagined. At this time, Kami, who was originally panicked, also saw Zalba, Nami and others in the audience, and her face showed joy. It's Zalba, they're here to save me. Nami also raised the sign in his hand, ready to bid at any time. The male celestial dragons in the audience stared wide-eyed, drooling. Great, it's a mermaid, there are mermaids for sale. Bang bang bang. The host tapped the gavel 3 times to signal the presence of people to be quiet. It's been a long time since the mermaid sale, everyone should be very interested. So how much do you start with? The people present couldn't help swallowing, and they were all ready to bid. Well, let's get started. 5 billion. Before the host excitedly called out the low price, a voice interrupted directly. Looking around where the voice came from, it turned out to be the male celestial dragons. He couldn't wait a long time ago, and in his capacity, regardless of the rules and regulations of your auction house, money is just a piece of paper to them. Every year, the heavenly gold sent by various kingdoms is too much to spend. I offer 500 million Baileys. Celestial dragons repeated their bid once again. Advertisement. The host's forehead was covered with sweat. Although the price is very high, once celestial dragons bids, even if other people want to increase it, they dare not. Sure enough, after the male celestial dragons finished quoting the price, everyone had a look of unwillingness on their faces, but they didn't dare to say anything more. Well, Nami's beautiful eyes tightened for a while, and the sign in her hand fell to the ground. It's not enough. At this time, the aged celestial dragons also spoke. You're wasting money again. Don't you have piranhas in your water tank? If you want them to chase after them, the mermaid seems to be the fastest in the world. Not far away, Nami and the others had desperation in their eyes. Just when the host was about to drop the hammer, a slightly teasing voice sounded. I'm offering 500 and 100 Pele. As soon as these words came out, countless eyes were placed on a man who had just entered in the back. The man had red hair tied into a ponytail, handsome and extraordinary, with a hint of teasing in his expression. Everyone is watching. Who dares to compete with celestial dragons? Nami and others also looked at Namikaze Kirito at the same time. He had arrived here a long time ago, but everyone present had their eyes on the auction, so no one saw his entry. Who is this man? Because Nami and others are standing in the back row, they are very close to Namikaze Kirito. They both had crazy ideas in their heads, but they were interrupted by Namikaze Kirito. The male celestial dragons also stood up and looked at Namikaze Kirito with a fierce look. The other party's handsome appearance made him very jealous. The female celestial dragons on the side looked at Namikaze Kirito with greed. Father, brother, slave. The host on the stage was also quite frightened by this turn of events, but this is an auction. He has to play by the rules. After glancing at the celestial dragons first, he said tremblingly, 500 and 100 Pele. There are still people who bid even higher. I'll give you 1 billion. 1 billion Baileys. The male celestial dragons turned around, making a ferocious bid. 1 billion? Then I'll pay a little. 1 billion and 100? Now, no matter how stupid they are, they can see that this man who suddenly appeared is clearly targeting the celestial dragons. How dare he? B******************. D. Are you a pariah planning to court death? Advertisement. The male celestial dragons couldn't bear it anymore, and cursed directly in the direction of Namikaze Kirito. 0. Ask for flowers. Namikaze Kirito, on the other hand, didn't show the slightest anger, but doubts on his face. What? You can bid, but I can't bid. You can continue to bid, of course, as long as you bid, I will be 100 yuan more than you. Why don't we compare and compare? Well, you're looking for death. I want. Boom. Just when the male celestial dragons were furious, there was a loud noise, and Luffy led Zoro and others directly crashed into the auction house. As soon as it landed, it was yelling crazily. Kami. While speaking, Luffy was about to rush forward, but was held tightly by Zalba and Sanji. Luffy. Don't be impulsive. Nami also ran forward. The current situation is getting more and more chaotic. Even if you want to make a move, you have to wait for a while. Luffy doesn't listen to anyone, but the iron fist of his own navigator hurts a little. Just when he was about to say something, he suddenly saw Namikaze Kirito beside him. Ah, nice guy over there at Shaki. Hearing this, Nami was stunned. Luffy, do you know him? I don't know each other, but I met at Shaki's place. The male celestial dragons were already angry, but the sudden appearance of Luffy and others did not interrupt his anger. How dare you? How dare you treat me like this? The male celestial dragons had reached the limit of their patience, so they pulled out a gun and pointed it at Namikaze Kirito. Everyone present watched this scene in horror. They know that the celestial dragons are angry. Only a handful of people can keep their cool, the overwrought Straw Hat crew, the Kids Gang, and Law. The three of them can be said to be the leaders in the supernova. 2 years later, they will also be able to fight against the Xuanguang hand in hand. So it doesn't scare them at all. What a tantrum. Seeing that the other party took out the gun, Namikaze Kirito stood up, spread his hands, and expressed a little helplessness in his tone. While talking, he walked forward. Hey, what is he going to do? Why are you walking in the direction of the celestial dragons? Everyone present had a sense of foreboding. The red-haired kid looked at the figure of Namikaze Kirito with great interest. He could feel the bottomless aura on him. Haha, there really is an amazing guy. Chapter 185 Killed 3 celestial dragons? On the other side, Trafalgar Law, who was sitting quietly, also opened one eye and looked at Namikaze Kirito. Hey, do you really want to make a move? The people at the auction site couldn't breathe as they watched Namikaze Kirito walk towards the male celestial dragons step by step. They don't know what the other is going to do, but it's definitely not a good thing. Such a violation of celestial dragons will not end well. The male celestial dragons keep approaching their own Namikaze Kirito with angry faces. I don't know if it's because of Namikaze Kirito's mocking eyes, or fear of his demeanor. Soon, Namikaze Kirito came in front of the celestial dragons. One of them was tall and straight, the other was like a dwarf, the other had the temperament of a nobleman, and the other had a snotty nose. Under this stark contrast, Namikaze Kirito is set off like a real-world noble. 757. At this time, on the stage, an old man with sharp eyes also came up from the backstage, and after a casual observation, he saw the current situation. Rayleigh, isn't this Zauba? It's been a long time? The sharp-eyed old man is the right hand of One Piece, the deputy captain, Sarubo's Rayleigh known as Pluton. What are you doing here? I'm going to save my friend. Following Xiaoba's gaze, the mermaid in the fish tank was also reflected in Rayleigh's eyes, and then a light flashed, and the mermaid Kami finally saw the light of day again. With armament hockey, you can easily remove the collar on the opponent's neck. After doing all this, Rayleigh also looked in the direction of Namikaze Kirito with great interest. At this time, the male celestial dragons didn't have time to care about the mermaid being rescued. The more he looked at the man in front of him, he felt a strange emotion in his heart. This emotion is called fear. And the extreme of fear is anger, and the male celestial dragons shouted angrily. B*****ch. B********D, who allows you to see me and stand still. Don't kneel down for me. The moment the male celestial dragons spoke, several guards surrounded Namikaze Kirito. The other two celestial dragons also stood up, glaring at Namikaze Kirito. As descendants of the creator in this world, they absolutely do not allow anyone to challenge their authority. Oh, what a boring pig. Advertisement, damn, who are you talking about? You impolite man, you don't kneel down in front of St. Charles Ross. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's insult to celestial dragons, a group of guards couldn't bear it anymore, and quickly pulled out their guns and pointed at Namikaze Kirito. The celestial dragons known as St. Charles Ross also drew a gun from their arms. You don't even have the qualifications to be my slave, give me. Boom. Suddenly, with a muffled sound, St. Charles Ross flew upside down and smashed a piece of the seat. The bubbles on the head have been shattered, and the face has even been deformed. Pluton Rayleigh watched the scene, his eyes lit up. What an amazing hockey. Can you do physical damage without even using a hand, just a look? Captain Kidd also looked at this scene with a grin on his face. Ha ha ha, I really made a move, I am simply a lunatic. Luo, who was sitting on the chair, rubbed his eyebrows with a headache. This is really troublesome. He hit the celestial dragons, the Marine Admiral is coming. Run. Countless onlookers in the auction house saw celestial dragons being blown away, how could they maintain their composure, and ran out one after another. Something happened to celestial dragons in this auction house, and as long as those who stay are left behind, no one will be able to avoid trouble. The host was also dumbfounded that someone dared to attack celestial dragons. He hurriedly called the guards of the auction house to go up and surrounded Namikaze Kirito in the center. If this matter is not handled properly, the auction house may simply disappear. The other two celestial dragons also reacted, and quickly scolded Namikaze Kirito. Hole, how dare you shoot my beloved son? How dare you hurt my elder brother? I will not accept you as a slave anymore, I will kill you in the most cruel way. At this moment, Charles Ross, who was lying on the ground, said with difficulty, kill him, B**********D, B********D. Seeing that the other party was still alive, Namikaze Kirito took 2 steps forward and looked down at the other party. Charles Ross Saint was delirious, but he saw Namikaze Kirito's eyes. What kind of look is that? Like a god, without the slightest emotion, he despises all living beings. Advertisement even saw a trace of dignity. The remaining 2 celestial dragons and the guards felt that Namikaze Kirito was going to continue to hurt Charles Ross, so they hurried forward to stop. Your vitality that doesn't match your strength is also a waste. While talking, Namikaze Kirito stretched out a hand in the air, and snapped his fingers very simply. There was only a snap. The 3 celestial dragons and the guards who were about to step forward all stopped in place, and the expressions on their faces also paused. The rest of the people all watched this weird scene, not knowing what happened. Only Rayleigh covered his head with the white shawl behind his back. Within 3 seconds, there was a sudden bang. Immediately afterwards, there were countless bubbles bursting. The 3 celestial dragons and the guards who wanted to step forward exploded one by one before everyone's eyes. Completely turned into a blood mist state. Blood rained everywhere in the air, and those who couldn't avoid it were covered in blood all over their faces. The timid Nami, Chopper and others even screamed out. Who is this person? Nami looked at the handsome and tall figure with eyes full of fear. The Straw Hats had never killed anyone on the way, and it was by such a bloody method. This made her unbearable. And Zoro looked straight at Namikaze Kirito. At that moment just now, the murderous aura displayed by the other party was as if 2.8 had killed tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. The murderous aura was already as strong as the substance. Definitely a very scary person. The host of the auction house stared blankly at the scene in front of him. He knew that it was over, everything was over. If fighting celestial dragons is a great crime, then killing celestial dragons directly is an unforgivable crime, and killing 3 in one go. This is definitely a big event. Even if the summit war is coming, Marine will definitely not sit idly by. Not to mention that the boss behind him is Doflamingo, even 5 elders can't keep this auction house. Shooting the celestial dragons is hitting the face of the world government. Killing 3 celestial dragons is equivalent to rubbing the face of the world government on the ground, not only that, but also spit out a few mouthfuls. If this can be tolerated, it is not the character of the world government. Chapter 186 Marine Admiral Kizaru. The people who hadn't had time to escape also saw this scene. One by one's eyes were wide open, and the eyeballs almost fell out.
This is definitely big news. 3 celestial dragons died in the hands of one person at the same time. If nothing else, the world will undergo earth-shaking changes again.
At this time, after killing 3 celestial dragons, Namikaze Minato seemed so careless, and casually found a clean seat and sat down.
Who is talking about you? It's you, too much. The host pointed at himself, and after being affirmed by Namikaze Minato, although reluctantly, he stepped forward.
He is a host, how can he have fighting power, not to mention being able to kill so many people in an instant? The strength of this mysterious person is simply terrifying and cruel.
You, what are your orders? Bring a glass of juice, I'm thirsty after talking so much. Is this how your auction house treats customers? Hearing this, the host was taken aback for a moment, and then found a staff member who returned it, and O3 asked the other party to get a drink immediately. At this time, Rayleigh also came over from the stage and sat beside Namikaze Minato. It's amazing how about hockey, I've never heard your name in the sea before, because of these guys, just exposed like this. Is it really good?
Hearing Rayleigh's inquiry, Namikaze Minato smiled and said, what about you? Marine will be here soon. If you don't run away, your retirement life will be lost. Pluton Rayleigh. As soon as the last 4 words came out, the 3 remaining pirates immediately let out a cry of shock. Of course, except for Luffy, who is such a nervous person, how could he possibly know who Pluton is? The right hand of One Piece? Even legendary characters have appeared, today is really not in vain. Is Pluton Rayleigh the one to admire? Just how strong? Not to mention everyone's amazement, Rayleigh burst into laughter when he heard Namikaze Minato's words. It seems that you don't care about killing these 3 guys. Why do you choose to face the world government as soon as you come out? It's just 3 pigs. If you kill them, you will be killed. As for the world government, if they don't look for me, I will look for them. Hearing this, Rayleigh's pupils constricted, and he spoke again with a hint of admiration in his tone. It's not enough to refuse to obey the young people nowadays are too scary. Naval Headquarters, Marineford. Advertisement in the Marshal's office, Marshal Sengoku has received the matter of Sabodi Archipelago at this time. Kizaru was also drinking tea here, and the two were discussing things about Summit War.
When they received this news suddenly, they all had expressions of disbelief. Did someone take a shot at the celestial dragons? Or 3 kills with 1 shot? It's no wonder that the world government isn't furious. I just received a phone call from the 5 elders, and those 5 old men were about to explode.
Boom. Can't these bastards in the sea calm down? Where did this person come from? Marshal Sengoku was already having a headache for the subsequent war, but this happened again, and he is now on the verge of exploding on the spot. Marshal Sengoku, let me go. I seem to be the only one who is idle in the headquarters right now. Kizaru knew that he couldn't avoid this matter, so he didn't stay in Moji, put down his teacup, and volunteered. Perusalino, I will leave this matter to you. The 5 elders are already furious, and have issued a death order to bring that person back. J. As he said that, Kizaru also walked out of the office, leaving only Sengoku looking at the documents in his hands and constantly making troubles. In Sabodi Archipelago, everyone on the island knew what had happened by this time.
3 celestial dragons died on the auction house, Marine Admiral will be here soon.
Originally, as a necessary place for the new world, there were countless pirates here. Now that they heard the news, they all panicked and planned to run out.
Even if the culprits are not them, Marine Admiral will definitely bring troops with him when he arrives. At that time, these pirates will have to be dealt with by the way.
Wherever they dared to stay, they all went crazy and started looking for their own boats.
In the auction house, Namikaze Minato was sitting on a chair, tasting the juice in his hand, while the host waited tremblingly, afraid that the other party would be unhappy, so he directly asked him to meet Tainai. Rayleigh chatted with the other party for a while, and found that the young man in front of him seemed to have a lot of secrets. I really don't understand where the other party's information came from.
Everyone, come out now, we've got you all surrounded. Just when Rayleigh wanted to chat more with Namikaze Minato, Marine outside had already started shouting. Advertisement. Hearing this voice, the host felt a little relieved. He had never liked Marine's voice so much.
It is simply a lifesaver. Luffy, we should go too. First heard that Marine Admiral will come here once we beat celestial dragons. Nami said to Luffy in a panic. The reason why they care so much about Marine Admiral is because they met Aokiji before.
That crushing strength is simply not something they can defeat now.
Seeing that everyone was about to leave, Namikaze Minato lost interest in being here, and stood up and walked outside. After 2 punches, Luffy immediately apologized. Really, I wanted to hear more about these things I didn't know, but the damn Marine is here. Little ones, come out with us.
It's fun chatting with Namikaze Minato, but it's also worth seeing what Shanks said about the kid. Oh, you've already met Sheki? Well then, I won't bother you. Let's talk again when we have a chance. Did you say it's your friend's bar? I've been there, and there are plenty of opportunities to chat. I want to go shopping on the island first. Isn't it interesting?
How about it, brother? Why don't we go to another place? Let's talk more. When passing by the straw hats, Nami's beautiful eyes looked at him with a hint of curiosity and fear. Bang bang. As soon as they came to the door, they heard several roars, and a leading supernova obviously had a battle with Marine.
Saying that, Rayleigh got up and walked out. The kid named Luffy was wearing a familiar hat. Same as the original book, the three young supernova captains are arguing again, intending to take the lead in solving the marine outside. Without him, Namikaze Minato really impressed everyone too deeply. So what? Marine Admiral is here and I'm going to beat him up too. Unexpectedly, the leading marine saw Namikaze Minato at a glance. Trouble dead. 170. Get out of the way, they're mine.
Such a weak person, Namikaze Minato didn't have the slightest interest, and walked straight forward. Chapter 187 Speed is Power. Red long hair, white shirt. This man is the main culprit, the one who hurt celestial dragons. In the name of justice, he must not be allowed to leave.
Yes. As he spoke, General Marine directed his subordinates to turn their guns on Namikaze Minato, who had just left the house. But he forgot, they haven't even won the 3 supernovas yet, so there is no chance of attacking Namikaze Minato. Third gear. Rubber, Titan pistol, room slaughterhouse. Go to hell, Marine. Boom boom boom. Several roars sounded. Namikaze Minato still did not turn his head to look, and left the scene on his own. Only 3 supernovas were left to face the marine forces. Without him, there is no point in keeping them. Let alone wood style, a simple conqueror's haki can make them lose their fighting power directly, so he has no desire to take action. This kind of simple B, let's leave it to 3 supernova outfits. If you guessed right, according to the plot of the original book, Marine Admiral and Kizaru should come here in a while, and only then will they be able to witness the strength of the strong in this world with their own eyes. And the power of world order they carry. For the time being, let's take a look around. On the other hand, Straw Hat Crew went straight to Shaki's rip-off bar after dealing with the marine unit. Here, they learned many secrets. However, it will take some time for the ship to be coded. During this period, they must hide, otherwise they will definitely be arrested indiscriminately when Marine Admiral arrives. You know, Supernova, these 11 people, are also existences that give Marine a headache. Now that Marine Admiral is here, he would rather kill the wrong than let him go. The killing of 3 celestial dragons will definitely drive the world government into a frenzy, and these pirates just happen to be the best targets for revenge. And Namikaze Minato? Thinking of this name, Rayleigh couldn't help but look curiously in his eyes. He knew Namikaze Minato's name from Shaki. As soon as he thought of his terrifying aura, he knew that he was definitely a strong man. If Marine just sent an admiral, he would probably be deflated, right? Even retired, pirates are not pirates. Can make Marine and world government deflated. Of course Rayleigh will be happy to watch from the sidelines. On the island, Marine troops have arrived. A man in a yellow suit and brown sunglasses was looking at the phone bug on his wrist. Hey, I'm Kizaru. I'm so weird. Advertisement behind the nearby house. There are 2 pirates watching Kizaru's figure, sweating coldly. Not good. If I get rid of this guy, I will become famous overnight. Don't be silly. The opponent is Marine's strongest combat power? The other person was obviously dazzled by fame and wealth, raised the gun in his hand, and looked at Kizaru on the other side of the scope. It's now. Boom. There was a gunshot, and the bullet passed through Kizaru's head and directly into the opposite wall. The 2 pirates watched this scene in disbelief, and then fired again, but it was still the same as before. This must be the demon fruit power. Thinking of this, the 2 pirates quickly ran away. But as soon as he ran to the alley, he saw Kizaru standing in front of the 2 of them. I want to inquire about something. I'm looking for a man named Zon Taowen, he is my subordinate. The 2 pirates didn't dare to stay, they turned around and ran away immediately. Seeing the backs of the 2, Kizaru bent down and stretched out one leg, and a dazzling light suddenly appeared on that leg. Really, I'm just asking. As the petals went out, a yellow laser shot out directly. Originally, this laser beam passed between the 2 pirates, and the 2 were still thinking about getting out of danger, then. Boom. The laser hit the ground, causing an explosion directly, and the airwave directly lifted the 2 pirates into the air. The big tree marking number 27 was also broken. The terrifying power, not only the surrounding pirates, even Marine himself almost dropped his jaw. It's a bit over the top. Kizaru scratched his head and said with a smile. At this time, the miscellaneous fish pirates on the island were either captured or ran for their lives frantically. Only the supernova pirates either fought against Marine or stood still. I was not intimidated by the Marine 3 sound at all. I don't know if they are newborn calves who are not afraid of tigers or their own courage. And next to a fountain, Hawkins is looking at the cards in his hand. Advertisement, battle, the defeat rate is 100%, and the escape, success rate is 12%. May I interrupt you? Kizaru bent over and stood in front of Hawkins. I'm looking for a man named Zon Taowen. Hawkins was still looking at the cards in his hand. Defense, evasion rate, 76%. Backquote him. Seeing that the other party ignored him, Huang Yuan made an inquiring noise again. I don't know that person, you can ask someone else. With that said, Hawkins put down his cards and looked directly at Kizaru. Yeah, I can't find him, but I'm free now, so I can let you go, the bounty offender, right? A bounty of 249 million, magician, Basil Hawkins. Speed is weight, have you ever been kicked by the speed of light? After saying that, Kizaru raised his foot, aimed at Hawkins' head, and hit the whip leg directly. Call out. Boom. Hawkins flew backwards, shattering the surrounding buildings like a shell, and then triggered an explosion. Kid, the captain of the island, and Luo, the death surgeon, also encountered difficulties. The opponent is an artificial human whose appearance is exactly the same as that of 7 warlords of the sea and Tyrant Bear. This is also the latest weapon researched by Marine. Pacifist. The current supernova is still too immature, facing this kind of weapon that is only man-made, but, goodly how, are all in a hard fight. A pirate at the port was transporting things to the ship, and just about to escape, he flew out backwards. Exactly the same action as Hawkins. On Kizaru's side, facing the billowing smoke, he fired a laser again, making a huge roar. Hawkins didn't receive the slightest harm in it, while the many pirates who fled not far away suffered harm for him one by one. This is his demon fruit power, very weird. No matter what kind of damage you receive, you can transfer this damage away. Not long after, the dust cleared, and Hawkins came out intact. As expected of Admiral, the power is far beyond imagination. How strange. At this time, the strange monk Uruj also came here, but he was beaten by the pacifists. In addition to Apu who was observing the situation upstairs, there are already 3 supernovas with a reward of over 100 million. Chapter 188 Namikaze Kirito Rescue. Marine Admiral ahead, Shichibukai behind. Is this the end? Uruj spoke unwillingly but desperately. No, you haven't shown your death yet. Hawkins used the magic stick again.
It turned out to be North Blue's Hawkins. Even if he was an enemy, he was joking with me, and I am very grateful. The pacifists on the side didn't give the two a chance to talk about the old days, and stretched out their hands directly, intending to end Uroj. Whoosh. Just when the pacifist was about to hit Uroj, a figure flashed across, and Irake, who was also a supernova, rushed over directly, and knocked the pacifist away with one blow. Boom. The massive body of the pacifist shattered a nearby building. But after a while, he climbed out of the building again, seemingly unscathed. Seeing this scene, Uruj's whole body swelled up, like a small titan. With a ferocious smile on his face. It's very embarrassing to be beaten, but is there any hope? Well, let me confirm it. Fight back and see. Apu on the room also said with great interest. Look, it's getting more and more exciting. This is really interesting. On the other side of the island, the Straw Hat crew and the pacifists also battled. All members of the Straw Hat crew teamed up and fell into a hard fight. They had no choice but to have a machine body of 890 and Kizaru's laser ability. Plus the power of terror. The pacifist has been transformed into a weapon that can really affect a battle by the world government scientist, Vegapunk. After an unknown amount of time, with countless roars, the Straw Hat crew finally defeated the enemy in front of them. However, the group of people were also out of breath, obviously using all their strength. Just when everyone was rejoicing, 2 figures descended from the sky. Another Shichibukai. Chopper, Usopp, and Brook screamed at the same time, and one of them who fell down was the Tyrant Bear. Obviously just now everyone united to knock him down? The other figure is a huge man wearing a red bellyband and holding a huge axe in his hand. Advertisement. Who are you? Big axe. Huh, it's useless to ask people how to use weapons to call others. I won't tell you anything. My uncle is the man with the strongest defense in the world, and he is very tight-lipped. Hearing this, Usopp questioned tremblingly. What's wrong with being a big name? I don't need to answer your questions, I've said it all. I'm the most tight-lipped man in the world, Zon Taowen. So it's like you, your name is Zonmaru. Hearing this, Zon Taowen was taken aback for a moment, and then said again. That's what I wanted to say just now, and it didn't answer your question. Let's start. PX1. Boom. The pacifists strike again. Let's run away. Everyone escaped separately. Seeing that the Straw Hat crew was about to run away, Zan Momomaru caught up with Luffy directly and began to duel with him. Others ran away quickly. At this moment, a flash of gold appeared, kicking Zoro to the ground with one kick. Is the old man finally here? Zon Taomaru heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the person coming. With his speed, he would definitely not be able to catch the Straw Hat crew and flee in all directions, but Kizaru appeared. The intellectual beauty on the side, Nico Robin saw Kizaru's appearance, her beautiful eyes tightened, and she gave a warning sound. Be careful everyone, he's Marine Admiral Kizaru. Hearing this, everyone in the Straw Hat crew froze in place. The 2 seemingly Shichibukai weapons were not resolved, and the Marine Admiral came? On the other side of the island, Hawkins, Uruj, Apu and others all fell to the ground. One mouthful is scary, one kick is a supernova, Kizaru's strength is not underestimated. In front of him, these immature pirates didn't even have a chance to escape. Looking at Zoro, who was breathing heavily on the ground because of serious injuries, Kizaru spoke in a low voice. The bounty is 120 million, Pirate Hunter Zoro, although I heard that you were an Adai swordsman. But I didn't expect to be solved by one move. It seems that I have accumulated a lot of injuries. Advertisement. Zoro coughed out a mouthful of blood at this moment. Damn it, it's Admiral. You can rest in peace slowly. Saying that, Kizaru raised one leg, and the light of gold shone on that leg. Usopp, Luffy, who fell on the ground, shouted loudly. Hearing his own captain's shout, Usopp reacted, and immediately took out his slingshot and started shooting at Kizaru, but without haki, it had no effect on Logia users. Brook on the side also rushed over, drawing his sword and stabbing at Kizaru. Just when the two were desperate, 2 rows of hands appeared on the ground, and the intellectual beauty Nico Robin began to use his fruit ability to drag Zoro away. I saw Kizaru's unserious face lifted up, fixedly looking at the man who suddenly appeared in front of him. For some reason, seeing this man's appearance, everyone in Straw Hat crew was relieved from the bottom of their hearts. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's question, Kizaru was stunned for a moment, then withdrew his legs and got off Zoro. Nico Robin seized the time and brought Zoro back to the Straw Hat crew, watching Marine warily.
Recognized, Kizaru Admiral, first time meeting, my name is Namikaze Kirito.
And the other party suddenly stopped moving, and he knew why. Nami and Robin on the side also met at this time, and their beautiful eyes stared closely at Namikaze Kirito. The moment Rayleigh came, Kizaru felt it, but as the highest combat power of Marine, he didn't care.
This feeling is very strange, obviously everyone does not know each other. Whoosh, since all the criminals have appeared, let's wait for the Straw Hat crew. Saying that, Gold's light flashed, and Kizaru appeared directly beside Namikaze Kirito. Who knows, but Kizaru Admiral, isn't your leg sore after lifting for so long?
But in front of the speed of light, this speed is not even an ant crawling. Kizaru came to the side of Zoro again in an instant, raised 1 foot high, and stepped on him directly with the other, making people unable to move. He pulls away. Oh Tilda, you're the one who shot celestial dragons, it's scary, you're so young. Namikaze Kirito. It sounds like Wanokuni's name, but as a major sinner, he still appeared in front of this old man. It seems that he didn't take us Marine seriously.
At the critical moment, a silver figure rushed over, it was Rayleigh.
But at the moment when he was about to save the field, he suddenly felt something, stopped, helped up Luffy who fell to the ground, and then looked at where Kizaru was.
The person who appeared was Namikaze Kirito, and it was because of his appearance that Rayleigh stopped. Chapter 189 8-foot Chonguyu Boom. That shining golden leg kicked Namikaze Kirito's head directly, but it was not as easy as facing the supernova before.
It was directly blocked by an arm. A laser beam shot out directly, crashed into a tree trunk not far away, and made a deafening boom.
It's really impolite, do you do it before someone finishes talking? Namikaze Kirito looked at Kizaru with a smile on his face, his arms didn't tremble the slightest when he got up. This scene surprised Kizaru a bit. You must know that although he didn't use all his strength, not everyone could follow this kick, and the opponent didn't even shake it. What surprised him even more was that he felt Namikaze Kirito's terrifying armament haki from where their hands and legs met. The hands have not changed color, but they are as hard as steel, as if they are fully covered with armament haki. It's really scary. Tilda, do all the young people nowadays have such strength? The Straw Hat crew not far away also stared wide-eyed, because they had contact with Admiral. Of course they knew how strong the opponent was. Marine's strongest combat power is not just talk, they can't even deal with a pacifist, let alone Admiral. It's a lie, you can even block the old man's light speed kick? Zon Talwin was also shocked on the spot. Rayleigh had such an expression as expected, looked at Luffy who was lying on the ground, and secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Without Namikaze Kirito, I'm afraid I might not be able to protect this little devil. The person involved, Namikaze Kirito, ignored Kizaru's unscrupulous tone, and instead said mockingly, is killing 3 celestial dragons a villain? Your Marine's justice is really arbitrary. Hearing this, Kizaru couldn't help feeling a room in his heart. Indeed, celestial dragons can really do all kinds of evil, even compared to the worst pirates, they're even worse. But what can they do? The nobles in this world can only rule them. But even though he thought this way in his heart, he couldn't show it, otherwise it would ruin Marine's face. Amazono's sword. Kizaru stretched out his hands, and a dazzling sword appeared in his hand. Then he stabbed out violently. Namikaze Kirito clasped his hands together. Wood style, wood ingot wall, D. Advertisement. The ground shattered, countless logs drilled out of it, and then blocked Namikaze Kirito like a huge shell. Kizaru's sword of Amakongan, made of light, stabbed directly at it. Thick smoke billowed from the gap in the wood, and the surrounding area was pitch black, but even so, there was no sign of damage. Demon fruit power. It's a rare ability, but, whoosh. With a kick of his legs, Kizaru came directly into the air, and made an OK gesture with both hands. 8-foot Chonguyu. Shish. Light bullets shot out from his hands like a torrential rain, and the wide range of attack directly caused the onlookers to flee quickly. Boom 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 boom. The light bullets bounced off the ground and made a burst of roar, and every time a beam of light bullets fell, it was an explosion. This power can be said to be very terrifying. The shell formed by the wood was also smashed, splashing sawdust and billowing dust. Boom. The explosion is still going on, and Kizaru's Bachichuguyu can continue to fire for a long time. After a while, Kizaru stopped what he was doing, turned into light and fell on the house, staring at the thick smoke. Swish. Just when Kizaru was about to observe the situation, there was a sudden sound of cracking in the ear. What? Haki didn't even sense it, he didn't even sense the other party's attack, so he didn't have time to react. In a hurry, he stretched out his arms to meet the attack. But obviously, he underestimated Namikaze Kirito's strength. A fist hit his arm, making a crisp bone-cracking sound. Then a ray of light flew out directly, smashing countless buildings and making a violent explosion sound. Namikaze Kirito stood on the spot, retracted his outstretched fist, and looked indifferently at the ruins formed by the explosion in the distance. And this scene completely ruined the view of the onlookers again. Nami. Liar, isn't it? Marine Admiral, was he blown away so easily? Robin. This man is horrible. Usopp. Hey, should we run away? Luffy. I'm hungry. Advertisement Marine showed an expression of disbelief. That was Admiral. How could he be knocked into the air so easily? Zero. Asking for flowers. It's impossible for the old man to be so capable, Zan Taowen gritted his teeth and said. Although he also wants to help, judging from the fight between Kizaru and Namikaze Kirito just now, he is not qualified to participate at all at present. A burst of light flashed, and a yellow light suddenly appeared in the ruins, and then it kept refracting in various places. Not long after, a yellow light came in front of Namikaze Kirito. 8-foot mirror. Kizaru's figure also appeared again, kicking Namikaze Kirito's head again with a sharp kick. Boom. Not surprisingly, the attack was blocked by Namikaze Kirito again. At this moment, not far away, Marine's reinforcements rushed over, brandishing their weapons one by one. However, it's quite interesting. Kizaru, let me see the ability of your Marine Admiral? People like you have never shown up before. What kind of conspiracy do you have? At this moment, one arm of Kizaru was floating casually, which was obviously broken, and the expression on his face at this time changed from the previous indecency to a serious one. Watching his subordinates lose their ability to move one by one, Kizaru's face was covered with frost. Seeing this scene, Namikaze Kirito secretly sighed and put his hands together again. No matter how lazy he is on weekdays, it is impossible for him to be indifferent to his subordinates. My name is Namikaze Kirito, and I'm just a traveler. As for the conspiracy, I don't have any, but I can't understand the three pig-like guys, so I'm forced to confront you, Marine Admiral. Admiral, we're here to support you. Wood style, the tree world comes. Marine reinforcements, manpower seems so insignificant. Only Straw Hat Crew and Rayleigh were not attacked by trees. The ground shook and the ground cracked. Seeing this scene, Kizaru's pupils constricted, and then he spoke loudly. Return to. Boom boom boom. But his reminder was obviously too late. Countless towering giant trees rose straight from the ground, and a forest appeared in an instant on the bare ground where everyone was sitting. What's even more frightening is that the branch seemed to have spiritual intelligence, and began to attack the Marine who was coming, in front of this natural force. Chapter 190 Defeating Admiral. Hearing this, Kizaru stopped talking nonsense. He knew that he must take down this dangerous guy today. If such powerful and hostile celestial dragons are allowed to exist, not only the reputation of the world government will be affected, but there will be huge troubles for the subsequent war and the Marine. Whoosh! Kizaru used the light speed kick again, and Namikaze Kirito did not continue to use wood style. Instead, he used his physique to start fighting against it. Bang bang bang, the fists and legs of the two intertwined together, accompanied by a violent roar. The newly grown trees around were destroyed. Kizaru has the ability of sparkling fruit, so he can move quickly. And Namikaze Kirito is also worthy in this respect. His physique has already reached ultimate, and his speed will certainly not be too slow. What's more, you can also use the Thunder Attribute Chakra to accelerate the activation of cells in the body. 933. The two hit from the ground to midair, and then hit the ground from above midair. The sound of sonic boom was endless. This is the top figure in the pirate world, whose physique is countless times higher than that of the Hokage world, but compared to the most high-end combat power, such as the Six Paths level powerhouse. Pirates seem to be a little weaker. However, Devil Fruit has all kinds of strange abilities, and some of them are related to the rules, so no one can jump to conclusions about who is strong and who is weak. Kizaru is getting more and more frightened. Although he is not good at physical skills, but compared with people of the same level, he is not good at it. Compared with ordinary people, he is definitely extremely powerful, not to mention that he also uses fruit abilities in terms of attacks. Even so, he was still at a disadvantage. The young man in front of him who was sparring with him, in terms of physical skills, only Vice Admiral Garp could match him, right? With such thoughts in mind, Kizaru turned into a ray of light and receded to the back, and moved his hands again. 8-foot Chonguyu. Well done. Facing the light bullets flying all over the sky, Namikaze Kirito clapped his hands together. Wood style. Wood dragon technique. Roar. A giant dragon came out of the ground and flew into the air. Namikaze Kirito also stood on top of the wooden dragon. Boom boom boom. Countless light bullets hit the wooden dragon's body. Although there were sawdust falling down, it obviously couldn't damage the wooden dragon. Advertisement: the ferocious dragon head rushed directly to Kizaru's position. This is really troublesome. Kizaru showed a wry smile, but the wooden dragon had already arrived in front of him immediately, stopped the 8-foot begging Guyu move, and raised the intact arm to the sky. Pillar of light. Boom. 5 pillars of light fell from the sky, directly surrounding the wooden dragon, and then the 5 pillars of light began to rotate rapidly. The power of light is indeed unique. When the wooden dragon hit the outside, the dragon's head was scorched black and was repelled, went back. The 5 beams of light shrank toward the center as they rotated, obviously intending to destroy the wooden dragon. However, Namikaze Kirito on the dragon head still had that gentle smile on his face when he saw this scene. Armed color, harden. Roar. The wooden dragon roared loudly, and then the whole body became pitch black. Armament Haki has reached this level. Rayleigh looked at the pitch black dragon and let out a voice of admiration. You know, if a person can cover armament Haki all over his body, he is considered a strong man. Not to mention covering such a huge wooden dragon with armament Haki. The consumption of Haki is not a little bit, but a billion bit. And judging by Namikaze Kirito's appearance, it seems that there is still energy left? If the average person consumes such a large amount of Haki, let alone defeating the enemy, I am afraid that he will be exhausted first. As the enemy, Kizaru looked at the black dragon in disbelief. At this time, after the wooden dragon was hardened by the arm color, it hit the beam of light again. There was a sound of glass shattering, and the 5 beams of light shattered instantly, and the fragments of light slowly scattered in midair. But the wooden dragon's trend remained unabated, and it directly bumped into Kizaru. The latter just wanted to leave, but at some point, his legs were entangled by the branches covered with armament haki. Boom! The wooden dragon directly bumped into Kizaru's body, leading him towards the giant tree not far away. Accompanied by the shaking of the earth, the island under his feet was cracked. This blow actually pierced the ground. Then, Namikaze Minato landed in front of Rayleigh, looking at Senmomaru next to him. Advertisement, Marine, why don't you go find your admiral? You. Damn it, PX1, follow me to find the old man. Originally, he wanted to speak harshly to Namikaze Minato, but when he saw the cracks on the island under his feet, he remembered that Kizaru's life and death were uncertain, so he quickly disappeared in the middle of the field with the pacifist. On a tree in the distance, pacifist imitation, the tyrant bear is standing with a book in his hand. Looks like Straw Hat Crew is safe. Who are you to be so strong? It seems that we need to find an opportunity to inform Long. After all, the huge body disappeared directly above the branches. Brother, you are really too strong. Marine's highest combat power was defeated by you, old man. I really want to thank you. If you are not here, it will be troublesome. Rayleigh smiled generously. Even if I don't know, you will help them, right? Namikaze Minato cast a glance in Luffy's direction. Ha 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 ha, I saw it from you. Mr. Luffy's future can't be broken here, but even if I make a move, I'm afraid it may not be able to stop Kizaru. Rayleigh has retired for many years. Although his strength still exists, he is different from the older generation of strong men such as Whitebeard who are still fighting and active in the sea. He drank every day and then coated his ship. With some strength, he would definitely be a little weaker. Have you seen the news? Ace will be executed. You, the vice captain, really don't want to save your own captain's child? Rayleigh's eyes widened when he said this. Rogers. What was executed? Hey, what are you talking about? Is it Ace? Hearing Ace's name, Luffy got up straight from the ground. Ace is his big brother. Now that he heard the word execution, how could he maintain his composure at 3.2? Ah, that's right, Fire Fist Ace will be publicly executed by Marine soon. I'm going to save Ace. As soon as Luffy heard this sentence, he couldn't control his emotions anymore, and yelled out loudly. Luffy. Calm down. Nami hurried forward and grabbed Luffy. She didn't know whether the news was true or not. They were running for their lives and hadn't read today's newspaper. What's more, even if you want to rescue them, you don't know where Ace's people are now, so how can you rescue them? Namikaze Minato kept his eyes on Rayleigh. In the original book, Rayleigh knew that Ace was Roger's son during the Summit War broadcast. Now, after telling him the facts, I don't know if he, a retired old man, will go crazy again. Chapter 191 Your voyage is coming to an end. In Shoki's rip-off bar, everyone in the Straw Hat Crew had serious expressions on their faces. When they came back, they had already seen today's newspaper. There is an announcement from Marine on it. It was decided to execute Portgas D. Ace after a few days. As the strongest man in the world, the captain of the Whitebeard ship, public execution is tantamount to directly declaring war on the Whitebeard pirates. Everyone in the sea is in danger, and the situation has become strangely quiet. You know, Whitebeard is not only the strongest man in the world, but also the 4 emperors of New World. If they face off against Marine this time, it will inevitably break the pattern of New World. Even the 3 of them who are also 4 emperors must be prepared for this matter. Who knows how the world will go in the future, and the pirates who didn't win the 4 emperors lurked. At such a juncture, although Whitebeard had to prepare to fight against Marine. But at this time, no one dared to touch the tiger's whiskers. If you want to seize Whitebeard's territory, you have to wait for Whitebeard's failure, otherwise they are now gathering their forces and rushing to their territory suddenly. It must not be directly wiped out by the group. Inside the bar, the expression on Luffy's face has become angrier than ultimate. I must save Ace. He is my big brother. Hearing his own captain's words, the crew did not refute, and they always agreed with Luffy's decision. But facing Aokiji before, facing Kizaru this time gave them a better understanding of the world. It is estimated that it is impossible to do it only with them. Mr. Luffy, if you really make up your mind to Ace, I will help you. Rayleigh, who had been drinking with his head down, seemed to have finally made up his mind, put the glass on the table, and opened his mouth carefully. In fact, since the disbandment of the Roger Pirates, each crew member has his own adventure and life. Originally, they did not interfere with each other, but it's okay if they don't know, but now they know that Ace is the child of their own captain, and with the appearance of Fung Kirito. It directly made Rayleigh's heart that had been silent for a long time come alive again. Advertisement: the sea is wonderful, and if you didn't have an adventurous heart, you wouldn't have conquered the Grand Line with Roger. Now that he has heard Luffy's words of determination, Rayleigh is ready to go all out. At worst, he will find a place to hide after the war is over. The Marines don't know yet, they will have to face another legend in the next war. Ace should now be in Impel Down, Impleton, the #1 prison in the world. There are agencies directly under the world government, and naval headquarters in Enies Lobby synthesize the 3 major agencies of the government. It's located on the bottom of the sea, and the security is extremely tight. The prisoners in the prison are all serious criminals. It's very scary inside. There are all kinds of monster jailers and videophone bugs monitoring. There are more warships parked outside the prison than Buster Call. Outside the prison there are a large number of large sea kings on the bottom of the sea. Thus making Impel Down known as the Iron Wall. There's no one out there except Shiki.
Shaki also knew that Ace was Roger's son, and when he heard that his old man was going to rescue Ace, he directly told the information about the prison.
Shaki, what a nostalgic old guy. Hearing the name of Golden Lion, Rayleigh's face was full of nostalgia. As for Straw Hat Crew, their focus at this time was entirely on the prison itself, and they didn't care about the legendary name they defeated. Then let's go there and get Ace out no matter what.
Luffy doesn't care about the so-called Iron Walls at all, and now he only has one goal in his heart, which is to rescue Ace.
Members of the Straw Hat Crew have long been accustomed to the character of their captain. And they are also firmly locked together by the word friendship. Of course, no one will retreat because of danger. Seeing the determination of the Straw Hat members, Rayleigh's eyes were full of appreciation. It's really a group of reliable companions, but even so, we have to find a way to go there. After all, it's not easy to break into there.
The large submarine prison Impel Down, Naval Headquarters Marineford and Enies Lobby are in a triangular shape, and there is a huge Uzumaki current between the three. Relying on the opening and closing of the huge gate known as the Gate of Justice, to allow the inflow of sea currents to enter these three destinations smoothly. If the gate is not opened, you can only take Uzumaki in circles, and Common's pirate ship can only detour. After entering the door is the Calm Belt, and the Marine has new shipbuilding technology so it can freely sail in the Calm Belt.
Advertisement. So wanting to directly drive your own boat into the big prison under the sea is pure nonsense. Of course, there is no way. After all, after the storm, there is a system like Funlipao. But don't forget, once through the door of justice, Marine will find out. Now they are preparing for the war with Whitebeard, and the combat power in naval headquarters will definitely be both fortified. If they break in directly, the result is that not only Ace cannot be rescued, but even Rayleigh will become a member of the submarine prison. Thinking of this, Rayleigh looked at Namikaze Kirito who was drinking alone not far away.
After the battle, Namikaze Kirito came here with everyone. After all, after a fight, they still need to replenish their energy.
Drop by to see what the Straw Hat Crew plans to do in the future. After all, with his appearance, the Tyrant Bear did not appear to blow everyone away like in the original book. The plot has collapsed. Brother Kirito, will you intervene in this war?
I'm definitely going to join in the fun, but don't get me wrong, I'm not here to help you save Ace, I just want to see how vast the world is. Really? That's really good. Since you are a traveler, I don't know if you are interested in the large submarine prison. How about we act together and get involved in the war? As soon as this sentence came out, Namikaze Kirito understood what Rayleigh meant. I want him to help me in a different way. If Ace is really rescued by going to the big prison under the sea, then what is the Summit War?
It's no wonder Marine isn't crazy, but it's also interesting to follow the protagonist group to see it. After all, the plot has changed, and no one knows what the future will hold.
Is it really okay for me to act together with you? If I suddenly become interested in Marine, I might leave you all there tilde.
You guy, are you an enemy? Luffy raised his fist, showing that nervous look again. Boom. A burst of air pressure suddenly appeared, and Luffy was directly crushed to the ground, and the surrounding wooden floors were already cracked. Don't get me wrong, little Luffy, although I have some interest in you, it's just that, if you raise your fist at me again, I promise, your voyage will come to an end.
Chapter 192 Famous for the Sea. It has been a day since the killing of the celestial dragons, and the news is flying all over the sky during this period. So many people watched the situation at the scene, even if the world government wanted to block the news, it was useless at all.
In the end, there is no way but to let the news spread all over the world.
The mysterious strongman kills 3 celestial dragons. In the face of Admiral Kizaru's pursuit, he directly defeated him until he was seriously injured. He is currently still in the Marine Medical Department.
These 2 pieces of news were known to everyone in the entire sea.
And Marine also issued a reward order for Namikaze Kirito.
Looking for a reward order, Namikaze Kirito with a single ponytail is sitting on a chair in the auction house, looking like a hero. That handsome appearance has attracted the hearts of many female pirates, even among Marine, there are fans. People who have been persecuted by celestial dragons regard Namikaze Kirito as their savior.
For hundreds of years, this is the first existence that dared to hit the face of the world government directly and kill the celestial dragons.
The bounty has also reached a staggering 5 billion. This number is not surprising, and it is second only to Whitebeard among the 4 emperors. Not only because he punched the world government in the face and killed the celestial dragons, but also because he defeated Kizaru. In the news, a brief description of the general ability of Namikaze Kirito was also made. Possessing a super strong physique, the armed color and the blue king color Hokage have reached a powerful level. Demon fruit power has the ability to control trees, the specific name is unknown. But its origin is unknown, as if it suddenly appeared in the world.
The waters of the New World. At this time, the Whitebeard pirates were busy gathering their combat power, and Whitebeard's huge body was sitting on his chair, drinking heavily.
First Team Captain Marco handed the latest newspaper to his father.
Father, there is a wonderful person in the world. Advertisement. Gu la la la. What an incredible guy, even that brat Kizaru has been defeated. It would be great if he could become my family, but I don't have so much time now. Marine is going to have a headache this time, even Admiral has lost, so what qualifications do they have to bear justice?
Diamond Joe's made up the knife on the side. Since it was rumored that Ace was about to be publicly executed, all members of the Whitebeard pirates expressed deep hatred towards Marine.
On the sea, No matter how powerful they are, no one has ever taken the initiative to attack Marine. Now that the Whitebeard pirates see Marine's warship, they immediately sink it. You have already done something to my family, so it is not too much for me to recover some interest first, right? Is it Namikaze Kirito? I don't know if it's someone from Wano Kuni. If you can ask for help, you should be more sure.
Izo, who is a descendant of Wano Kuni, saw Namikaze Kirito's name, and his eyes lit up.
Being able to defeat Kizaru head-on, this strength is definitely at the level of the Overlord of the Sea. If you ask for help, wouldn't it increase the success rate of rescuing Ace? But Whitebeard frowned upon hearing this. This is our own business, how can we ask others for help? Sorry, Dad, I was thinking too much. Goo, I'm Whitebeard. On the other side, members of the Red Hair Pirates were replenishing supplies on an island, and they also saw the news. But what attracted their attention was not only Namikaze Kirito, but also the supernova mentioned in the report, among which Luffy's name was included.
It's Luffy, are you finally coming to New World? But now you are still a little immature. If it wasn't for his appearance, I'm afraid you would have been hit hard. Boss, can we stop the war in time? Hearing the inquiry from his own crew, Shank's face became serious. I have to stop it before it's too late, otherwise the world pattern will undergo earth-shaking changes. Have you seen it? Saying that, Shanks pointed to the newspaper, Namikaze Kirito's reward order.
Such a top powerhouse has appeared in the world, and he is still so young, and he stepped on the Marine's highest combat power to become famous as soon as he came up. Who knows how many such powerhouses there are in the world? Once the world pattern changes, these powerhouses will spring up like mushrooms in the field of vision, and no one knows their purpose, so we must stop this war.
Advertisement saying that, Shanks put down the newspaper in his hand, and took out the western sword from his waist. Let's go, little ones. Oh, on the other side of Daughter's Island, Boa Hancock, the Empress of the Pirate World, is also watching today's news. Did it really appear? Can you face celestial dragons without fear and kill them directly?
Snake Princess, such big figures have appeared, you must accept the Marine's Shichibukai assembly order, otherwise, in the future, no one knows whether our island will be safe like this. 11.
Backquote, shut up, old woman, I have my own arrangements for this matter.
Boa Hancock continued to look at the newspaper in his hand. For some reason, seeing that handsome and unruly figure, his heart suddenly beat a little faster.
Basically in every corner of the world, there are people watching the current news. I was still shocked by Marine's plan to publicly execute Fire Fist Ace. Well now, Namikaze Kirito has suddenly emerged, and he did two things when he appeared in people's sight, but each of these two things is an existence that can make the world look up to. But the huge fame and reputation are enough to drive countless people into madness. Those who want to be famous all aim at Namikaze Kirito, but these are nothing but rabble.
People with real insight know that the strongest combat power of Marine is not just talking about it. He can defeat Marine Admiral. Is such a person, existence that I can easily touch. Wong Nuo's depends on his attitude towards celestial dragons, you know, this guy is definitely a ruthless maniac.
If he came to challenge rashly and the other party was unhappy, it would be difficult to save his own life. What about fame, fortune and prestige? The prerequisite for wanting these is that you can save your life. Sabaody Archipelago. Among them, the island where Namikaze Kirito and Kizaru are fighting has been split into two halves, and more than that, the two halves of the island are covered with towering giant trees. There are traces of destruction everywhere, and one can imagine how tragic the battle was at that time.
On a boat on the shore, Namikaze Kirito is sitting on a deck chair, admiring the sea.
Luffy, who wanted to come over to snatch the beauty, was knocked down to the ground by Nami's punch. The picture of yesterday is still in front of my eyes.
No one made a move, Luffy fell to the ground, and even the Straw Hats went up together, but they were still pressed to the ground one by one. Chapter 193, Daughter Island. Everyone's destination today is Daughter's Island, and the reason why they want to go there is entirely based on Shaki's information.
The world government is gathering the 7 warlords of the sea for this war against the Whitebeard pirates. And according to Shaki's understanding, the character of Boa Hancock must be the last, and he won't even be there. After all, the celestial dragons traumatized the 3 sisters. If there is even a chance that pirates can go to the large undersea prison openly, then only 7 warlords of the sea, pirates with legal plundering rights, can do so.
It happened that Rayleigh and Shaki were very familiar with the people of Daughter Island. When the 3 sisters Boa and Hancock escaped, it was only by them two that they could safely return to Daughter Island. If Rayleigh comes forward, maybe the other party will sell him face and let everyone sneak into the submarine prison to rescue Ace.
Since Namikaze Kirito has decided to go with them, of course he will be on the same boat. At the same time, Naval Headquarters. Marshal Sengoku was looking at Kizaru, who was covered in bandages, from the worried-looking medical department. Is that brat really that strong? You guys can't release water, right?
Hearing what the marshal said, Kizaru also had a wry smile on his face. Of course, he also understood that his usual personality would indeed make the other party think so.
Forgive me, Marshal, that man defeated me head-on, and I used all my strength. That would be troublesome. Sengoku sighed. Kizaru is unreliable on weekdays, but when it comes to critical moments, his impressive strength is still very reliable.
Even he admits that he is not the man's opponent. I am afraid that if it is one-on-one, basically no one in Marine can suppress the opponent.
It's disgusting. Where did it come from? There is no information about him at all.
If it's Wano Kuni's people, it's not right. With such a strong strength, seeing that B************** D Kaido occupy Wano Kuni, why don't you go to trouble with him, and instead face celestial dragons? Whether it's his weird devil fruit ability or haki, he has reached the level of the overlord of the sea, and I'm afraid he won't be idle.
Kizaru said softly, the medical equipment in the marine is still very advanced, and his injuries could heal before the war, but when he thinks that such a terrifying person will face the marine, or even the world government, he can't help feeling a little dizzy. On the other hand, it is complaining about the celestial dragons. Adai, tell me, if you are honest, can our marine provoke so many enemies? Just like that day, when Namikaze Kirito said it to his face, there was no way to refute it. Advertisement: celestial dragons do no less evil than the vicious pirates.
There must be no accidents in this war. Let's put Namikaze Kirito aside. The main thing is Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world. We can't take it lightly. 7 warlords of the sea should be able to gather in the next few days. Jinbei that B********** D obviously chose to become the 7 warlords of the sea, but still refuses to fight the Whitebeard pirates.
Today, Hokage, the world's #1 swordsman, Heavenly Yaksha Don Quixote Doflamingo, Tyrant Bear, and Gecko Moria have all accepted the government's agreement. Of the remaining 3, Blackbeard, who had just become a Shichibukai, found no one. Haishia Jinbei refused to fight with the Whitebeard pirates and was imprisoned in the large submarine prison. Only the pirate empress was left, who kept delaying the agreement with the government. What a bunch of trash at sea. Marshal Sengoku is already one of the first 3, and his mind is full of these trivial matters. Daughter Island. Today's marine still hasn't entered the island, and several warships are waiting at the entrance.
The Vice Admiral Mole of the Marine Headquarters is looking at the guards of the Daughter Island with a serious face. Tell Boa Hancock, if you don't accept the call again, then our marine has the right to take back your privileges of 7 warlords of the sea, and then send someone to arrest all of you, a pirate nation. How dare you call the Empress by her full name, what a bunch of rude men.
The guards on Daughter's Island will not be used to marine. In their eyes, Boa Hancock is their god. Even if they are told to die, they are willing. There is no way, because my Empress is so beautiful.
In the palace, the mother-in-law is anxiously looking at the beauty on the throne, known as the #1 beauty in the world of pirates.
The reason why it is said to be the most beautiful woman in mankind is because of the existence of the mermaid princess, Shirahoshi. Of course, the beauty of the two can be said to be comparable. Everyone has a different temperament. Snake Girl, if you don't accept the call from the government, your title of Shichibukai will be gone, and our country will be in danger by then. Advertisement: shut up. The old woman is just a sinner of the country. What qualifications does she have to give advice to my concubine here? Damn guy. If I hadn't rescued you guys and taught you as my own daughters, would you have been able to become a king?
The mother-in-law danced angrily. Sandersonia and Marigold on the side hurriedly chased Granny to the side.
Miss Huang, do you really not care about marine? Just as Boa Hancock was intoxicated with himself, a deep voice suddenly came from the side.
So what about marine? They will forgive my concubine for being wayward. If you want to ask why, it's because the concubine is so beautiful. Because there is a marine on the edge of the Daughter Island, the Sunny can only stop at a small island not far away, and there is still a calm belt around. If you want to get through safely, you can only rely on swimming. The 2 younger sisters and the mother-in-law looked surprised when they saw Rayleigh. Only Boa Hancock looked at Rayleigh with a frosty expression.
How can a man come to the palace of a concubine? Guard, put this rude. Yeah, this time marine is probably going for real. There are a lot of warships here. When Boa Hancock was looking at Rayleigh, he inadvertently glanced at Namikaze Kirito beside him, and this one glance made her freeze. Although today's Wonkwon Billionsaka cannot be used successfully, space ninjutsu storage and Tibetans are indeed good choices. Rayleigh, you're here, isn't this Rayleigh? Oh, Hancock, are you in good spirits? The two were looking at Boa Hancock with great interest. These two are Rayleigh and Namikaze Kirito. Hearing the reports from his 2 younger sisters, Hancock brushed his hair back, and then raised his slender white neck. Everyone in the palace immediately looked towards the bed. An old man with white hair suddenly appeared here, and beside him was a handsome young man with red hair. Of course, it is Rayleigh who swims, and Namikaze Kirito who comes in a canoe in the water. Who? Straw Hat Crew was directly hidden by Namikaze Kirito using time and space ninjutsu. The more contact with Straw Hat Crew, Namikaze Kirito can get more power of order. Chapter 194, Snake Lady's Love. Is he, Namikaze Kirito? My mother-in-law often reads newspapers, and immediately recognized the red-haired young man in front of her. A pair of old eyes were full of shock. Hi everyone, I'm Namikaze Kirito. I'm meeting for the first time, and I'm currently working with this old man next to me. Hey, I'm still young, okay. You talk like that, but I'm very shocked. Rayleigh made a hurt look. The ghost knows how exhausting it is to swim from another small island to the daughter country. If I were younger, I wouldn't look a little breathless. Let's look at Namikaze Kirito, who sat in a small boat the whole time. Not only that, the small boat can walk on its own, without the need for waves at all. It made Rayleigh very envious, and wanted to ride on it 3 times and 4 times, but every time he was blocked by Namikaze Kirito to go back. Thinking of this, Rayleigh looked at Namikaze Kirito with resentful eyes. Kill 3 celestial dragons and face the pursuit of the highest combat power of naval headquarters. Instead of escaping, they will defeat them and fall into the sea. As soon as the bounty appeared, it was as high as 5 billion Baileys. Why did the person who committed such a heinous crime act with you, Rayleigh? Even though he knew what Namikaze Kirito had done, he couldn't stop being shocked when he read it from his own mouth again.
Well, Tilda, there should be some reason. Anyway, brother Kirito and I are partners now. Saying that, Rayleigh naturally wanted to put his shoulders on Namikaze Kirito, but the latter avoided it very sensitively. Really? Is he Namikaze Kirito? Shooting on celestial dragons? Sandersonia and Marigold also looked at Namikaze Kirito in shock.
The sense of oppression brought by the reward order and standing in front of me is completely different. It's you. The madman who shot the celestial dragons. Boa Hancock covered his mouth lightly with his white and tender jade hand, his tone trembling a bit. There is such a person now, why? Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito shrugged his shoulders. Of course he knew why Boa Hancock did this.
It's not considered to attack them intentionally, it's just that those 3 pigs planned to attack me, so I had no choice but to fight back. Ha ha ha, stop lying. Advertisement. Rayleigh directly exposed Namikaze Kirito's lie. I heard you when you bid at the auction house. It was clear that you were targeting them. I'm very curious. Where did celestial dragons not take the initiative to find trouble for such a bold guy? You took the initiative to find them.
You. Huh. Since you have shot those guys that I hate, then I will forcefully forgive you, Boa Hancock said arrogantly. Brother Kirito, let Luffy-kun and the others out. Will your magical space really be safe?
Really, remember to give me the money. As he spoke, Namikaze Kirito tapped the air with his slender fingers, and a dark scene slowly appeared. Straw Hat Crew then walked straight out of it. All of them had strange expressions on their faces. It's amazing. It's a huge space inside. There are so many treasures in there. Can I take them away? No meat. Shut up, Luffy. I'll make it for you later. You just. One Piece.
As soon as Sanji saw Boa Hancock's beauty, he immediately turned to stone. Chopper on the side rushed forward anxiously to check the situation. Where is this place? Rayleigh, Luffy looked around nervously. Boa Hancock has a black hair at this time, and it is obvious that he is on the verge of getting angry. 2 are not enough, yet you brought so many men to your own daughter country, Rayleigh. Okay, Hancock, Rayleigh finally came here, so don't be so mean.
Shut up, sinner. VR. Although the 2 were arguing, Boa Hancock also acquiesced to the fact that Rayleigh brought someone.
Hancock, I heard that the government is summoning you Shichibukai, isn't it? Rayleigh said earnestly. So what? I hope you will accept the government's call and put forward a condition to go to the large submarine prison. Please do us a favor. Having said that, Rayleigh's tone was somewhat pleading. Hancock was rescued by him, Shaki and Granny Z together. Of course he knew what she went through. If it wasn't for Ace, it would be impossible to open this mouth.
Advertisement. The mother-in-law on the side also had a heavy expression on her face, although she also wanted Boa Hancock to accept the government's anxiety and embrace the title of Shichibukai.
0. Ask for flowers, but the submarine prison is not an easy place to enter. Rayleigh, are you really going anywhere? Because it is a son of an enemy. I heard that my mother-in-law also said that everyone has something they must do, and it is useless for outsiders to say more. Do you want me to accept the call of the government?
Not surprisingly, Boa Hancock was still angry, his silver teeth bit his lower lip tightly, and his beautiful eyes that seemed to contain autumn water were even more turbulent.
Rayleigh, are you going to let me personally accept the government's request knowing what my concubine has gone through? The tragedy of Boa Hancock's childhood emerged in his mind. Rayleigh also sighed deeply, but then spoke.
Oh. If you don't accept this call from the government, I'm afraid your title of 7 Warlords of the Sea will be revoked. What will this country do then?
Then you don't have to worry about it. Old man, people don't want to help you. You are still sloppy, really. Namikaze Kirito spoke casually from the side. Hearing this, Rayleigh smiled wryly and said, Brother Kirito, not only Hancock is needed, but also your help. Only your weird ability can enter the prison. Me? I don't care, as long as you give me money, don't worry. Wait a minute, Will Namikaze Kirito come with him too?
Boa Hancock asked somewhat unnaturally. Brother Kirito will act with us recently, of course he will go, and only he said that we are all lost. Then, well, since this Namikaze Kirito killed the person I hate the most, then I will help you once. After saying this, Boa Hancock turned his head and turned his back to the crowd, showing the posture of a little girl. What's wrong with my concubine? Seeing their sister's trembling shoulders, the 2 sisters couldn't help but burst into tears. Sister Huang must be enduring great pain, right? Even though something like that happened, she still has to choose to go to the Marine headquarters.
What a noble, what a beautiful princess. Damn Rayleigh. Chapter 195. Actions at night. Okay, I'm a little tired, go to rest first. Hey, sinner. These people will be handed over to you. If they run around, they will be executed immediately. After finishing speaking, Boa Hancock turned around and left, leaving everyone with an enchanting and charming back. One Piece. I'm going to die, Sanji said Nympho. What a worthless fellow. What are you talking about? Chlorella head. Want to fight? Horny chef. Come on, who is afraid of you? Bang bang. With 2 muffled sounds, several hills appeared on the heads of Sanji and Zoro, and they fell to the ground, life and death. When you get to someone else's territory, be honest. Nami gritted her teeth, clenched her fists and said. Robin covered his mouth with a chuckle, and then looked at Namikaze Kirito not far away. For some reason, she, 443, always felt that the man looked at her with an inexplicable look in his eyes, which must not be hostility. But for a while, he couldn't figure out what the other party was thinking. If there's one Straw Hat crew with the darkest and most sensitive mind, it's Nico Robin. Because I have experienced all kinds of darkness since I was a child, and blended into it, and survived smoothly.
The understanding of the human heart has reached a point of horror. Namikaze Kirito helping himself and others unconditionally is definitely not as simple as it appears on the surface. I just don't know what the other party wants. Is it also because of ancient weapon?
It shouldn't be. Robin has seen Namikaze Kirito's ability to defeat Admiral, even Marine's highest combat power is not his opponent. Is ancient weapon really useful? What's more, he is still alone, there is no pirate group, and it is impossible to rule the world. As if sensing Robin's gaze, Namikaze Kirito turned his head and smiled. Nico Robin is not the only one who is good at observation and insight into people's hearts. Suspicion was clearly seen in the eyes of the other party, but it was nothing. Although he was more interested in historical texts, Nico Robin was not the only one who could interpret historical texts. If you want to know the history, after you recognize the truth of the world, wouldn't it be enough to go to the Holy Land? Rayleigh, you take the brats and come with me. Granny Z shook her body and led the way. The sinner Boa Hancock said was her advertisement. Of course, she, who is familiar with the other party's arrogant character, will not take this kind of thing to heart at all, and still do what she should do.
Night fell. Although it is a pirate group, it is also a country, and it is still very good in entertaining people. The room used for borrowing also looks magnificent.
Straw Hat Crew's nerves have been maintained at a high level of tension before, and now they can sleep well. And Namikaze Kirito was just wandering around bored.
My mother-in-law has already said before, as long as you don't go to the deepest bedroom, which is where Boa Hancock is, you can walk around the rest of the place.
The guards of Daughter's Island all know that this group of uninvited guests has come to their country. But since the Empress didn't object, they wouldn't say anything.
From Sabayati Archipelago to Daughter Island, it seems that this world is really interesting.
If you have nothing to do, you can take your family here for a trip. With such thoughts, Namikaze Kirito walked casually, and soon came to a minister of the hall. Well, as soon as he entered the hall, Namikaze Kirito stood still because he found a person in front of him.
That's right, it's just one person. He actually came to the room where Boa Hancock was, and the other party had obviously just finished taking a bath, and there was a hint of fragrance in the air.
There was a clear imprint on the back that was as white as jade. Sorry, the door of your room is not closed, I seem to. Irreverent. Before Namikaze Kirito finished speaking, Boa Hancock's beautiful eyes were covered with a trace of frost, and in the depths of the frost, there was also a trace of shyness and nervousness. Mero mellow. Boa Hancock raised his hands, and countless pink heart-shaped halos struck Namikaze Kirito. Having read the original book, he certainly knows the ability of the opponent, he just needs to avoid it, but Namikaze Kirito is also very curious about this regular ability. Empty your mind and not be tempted by the beauty in front of you. Sure enough, the heart-shaped aperture directly penetrated his body, but Namikaze Kirito himself did not change at all. This scene made Boa Hancock stunned for a while. Mero mellow. Advertisement reluctant to give up, she used the fruit ability again, and the result was no surprise. Namikaze Kirito still showed no signs of petrification. Why? Doesn't this man have the slightest interest in his own beauty? Namikaze Kirito, who was hit by Mero mellow, had a different feeling. He guessed right, each devil fruit has a regular calendar. This is the territory of the pirate world. If you are a strong person in other worlds, as long as you come to the pirate world, you will be affected by the rules. No matter how strong a person is, he should be restrained by devil fruit or he will be restrained. Except that the other party is already so strong that they ignore the world, otherwise this world order will immediately use the power of rules to teach you how to behave. Irreverent, have you seen the back of my concubine?
Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito was taken aback for a moment, and then thought of what the other party was referring to.
The brand of the dragon's hoof. Hancock. In 3.1, he is called a concubine Hancock. Could this be the marriage proposal in Legendary? Namikaze Kirito shook his head and spoke softly. Boa Hancock didn't hear what Namikaze Kirito said at all, his mind was covered by his own name. Boa Hancock's eyes became even colder. Then it won't keep you alive. Are you okay? So for a while, Namikaze Kirito didn't see what the other party meant, or in other words, he didn't think about it at all. This is also a shame that Pirate Lady Doctor can't erase in her life. Don't worry, Hancock, I don't mean to tell anyone else this secret. Compared to you, I killed 3 celestial dragons, so hiding here is a big secret, right? And Namikaze Kirito's handsome appearance in her heart is being infinitely magnified. But she's infatuated with Destiny's Luffy. Seeing Boa Hancock's flushed face and stupefied appearance, Namikaze Kirito asked softly. Did you mean the dragon's hooves? As long as they become slaves of celestial dragons, they will be branded on their backs to prove their status as slaves. Saying that, Namikaze Kirito spread his hands, showing an expression of indifference. He had read the original book and knew that Boa Hancock would show this expression when he was infatuated with someone. What should I do? Is the concubine going to agree to him? This is the so-called authority fan? Really?